Similarly in 2021, similarly in 2016, stealth was obviously the objective, and that's why they came at night, and that's something which we should be breaking, that it was pre-planned given the number of Chinese troops that came in. It was sought to be done with stealth, only disrupted because the Indian army troops were alert.
So, Abhishek, would it be fair now to say that you see PLA, you see Beijing actually opening up and moving towards the eastern sector? Because you've seen again a pattern, whether it was the western sector earlier, then, the middle sector, and now also such reports coming in from the eastern sector. And perhaps Beijing did not anticipate that you will have our full battalion at this post, because I was also reading that pre-2015, especially in this very, very harsh winter, unforgivable winter, you did not have so much of Indian presence actually at that post, something that has stunned the PLA this time.
Well, exactly. In fact, remember, like in the case of Galwan, Deepthi, good that you ask. So in the case of Yangtze, on the night of December 9, to be precise, the Chinese troops came in with those improvised weapons, the clubs with the wire, woven around it to cause harm. Then those taser guns and those monkey claws, monkey fists, essentially aimed at physically harming the combatant. So it was despite this preparation that the Indians pushed back and have not suffered the kind of injuries that we did in Galwan. So obviously we were prepared. There are important bits of information even now trickling in. We have to take a short break, and I come back, Deepthi, with more.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years. 4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Moolganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years. 4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Moolganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4. Indian and Chinese troops clash along the line of actual control on the 9th of December. Congress Neta Raja Pateria has been arrested for his remark against the Prime Minister.
NSA Ajit Doval, CTS Anil Chauhan and Army Chief Manoj Pandey all are inside the residence of Rajnath Singh, and a high-level meeting has started about this issue of India-China.
भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Raksha Mantri briefs the Parliament of Tawang. He makes it absolutely clear, not an inch given, not a single casualty on the Indian side.
मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Our forces give it back to China's provocation. Raksha Mantri tells the Parliament Indian soldiers force the Chinese to retreat.
राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35,00,000 रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ है।
Reminding the Congress Party of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah takes on the Congress for their double speak on China. Amit Shah attacks the Congress, says the party is creating ruckus and stalling Parliament only and only to avoid the RGF question. Forces fight on the border, but the Congress continues to question the army, claims major gaps in deployment.
मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आर्मी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे, लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है, वो बीच बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है।
Not an inch of soil can be taken, says the residents of Tawang who stand firmly with our forces. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is a story that was broken yesterday, a story that has kicked up a massive storm, a story that has been politicized by the opposition parties. Now, what's earlier happened in the day is that briefing the Lok Sabha, also the Rajya Sabha, the Raksha Mantri has laid out clear facts on what really happened. He has actually called out Beijing for the unilateral effort to change the status quo. The Raksha Mantri also reiterating that not an inch of soil has been given, not an inch of soil will ever be ceded to Beijing, and this is his very first response on the entire incident.
रक्षा मंत्री जी अपना बयान। आदरणीय उपसभापति महोदय, मैं इस गरिमामयी सदन को अरुणाचल प्रदेश के तवांग सेक्टर में हमारी सीमा पर 9 दिसंबर 2022 को हुई एक घटना के बारे में अवगत कराना चाहूंगा। उपसभापति महोदय, 9 दिसंबर 2022 को चाइनीज पीएलए ट्रूप्स ने तवांग सेक्टर के यांगसे एरिया में लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल पर अतिक्रमण कर स्टेटस को एक तरफा बदलने का प्रयास किया। चाइना के इस प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया। उपसभापति और सदन को यह भी बताना चाहूंगा, इस फेस ऑफ में हाथापाई भी हुई और भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। इस झड़प में दोनों ओर के सैनिकों को कुछ चोटें आई हैं। उपसभापति महोदय, मैं इस सदन को यह बताना चाहता हूं कि हमारे किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ। इंडियन मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए और इस घटना के पश्चात एरिया के लोकल कमांडर ने 11 दिसंबर 2022 को अपने चाइनीज काउंटर पार्ट के साथ स्थापित व्यवस्था के तहत एक फ्लैग मीटिंग भी की और इस घटना पर चर्चा की। चीनी पक्ष को इस तरह के एक्शंस के लिए मना किया गया और सीमा पर शांति बनाए रखने के लिए उन्हें कहा गया। इस मुद्दे को चीनी पक्ष के साथ कूटनीतिक स्तर पर भी उठाया गया है। उपसभापति महोदय, मैं इस सदन को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि हमारी सेनाएं हमारी भौमिक अखंडता को सुरक्षित रखने के लिए पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध हैं और इसके खिलाफ किसी भी प्रयास को रोकने के लिए सदैव तत्पर है। मुझे विश्वास है कि यह सदन हमारी सेनाओं की वीरता और साहस को एक स्वर से समर्थन देगा और अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आश्वस्त हूं कि यह संसद बिना किसी संशय के भारत की सेना की क्षमता, शौर्य, पराक्रम और प्रतिबद्धता का भी अभिनंदन करेगी। धन्यवाद।
So this is a statement that we've heard from the Raksha Mantri on the floor of the House, both in the Lok Sabha and also in the Rajya Sabha. Abhishek, there is reporting from the Vijay Chowk. And remember, there is an interesting bit of the attack, the political attack that's come in from the Home Minister also, Abhishek, about the Congress party and the history. You know, history that is not being disputed. But before we go to that and the highlights of that, the very fact today that you have the eastern sector that is heating up, and earlier also you broke reports of how the Indian Air Force jets had to be scrambled on at least 2 to 3 occasions to ensure in the last few weeks any air violations by China. This clearly is telling you what Beijing is wanting to do again by stealth.
Deepthi, some action outside Parliament. I'm hearing sirens, some movement. I have seen a carcade go inside. I think after the statement of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, some of the leaders would be coming out. Possibly, you see, there is, I think, the kind of blockade that's happening, more likely the Prime Minister coming out, the kind of arrangements that are being made. Having said that, this is just to give an idea of what's happening there on the ground. About your question, I lost your question, Deepthi, if you can come again on that.
Abhishek, the question was about, these reports that you brought in earlier of how the Indian Air Force also had to scramble its jet a few times in the last few weeks to deter China. And this clearly tells you that what happened in Tawang and the attempt wasn't an aberration. You know, it wasn't a mistake. There is a well-planned strategy behind this.
All right, so the combat air patrols, as they are called, Deepthi, they happen regularly, more often when some suspect activity is seen on the other side. So remember, the report suggests that as a build-up to this intrusion that the Chinese made on December 9, they were amassing troops, they were carrying out some exercises. Remember, from where this has happened, there is a Chinese border village called as it is euphemistically called Poverty Alleviation Village, which essentially acts as a logistics support base informally for the Chinese PLA. It is just about a kilometer odd distance. It's not very far. So there was some activity happening. There were drones being thrown in, and so there was an increased and elevated response from the Indian side by way of combat air patrols as well. As I said, even otherwise they happen. But when we see some suspect activity, the number of CAPs, the combat air patrols, increases, which is essentially Indian fighter jets flying in formation, sometimes 2, sometimes 4, sometimes even more, depending on the situation. For example, in the case of Ladakh, we saw even 6 or 8 fighter jets flying in formations at the peak of Ladakh standoff post Galwan. Now, of course, a carcade moving out. I think, yes, this is the Prime Minister coming out of Parliament. He has been there since morning. Remember, today also is the day or anniversary of the December 13, 2001 attack on Parliament, when India's democracy was attacked by the Pakistani deep state in a joint operation by the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. In the pictures, of course, Deepthi, Prime Minister leaving, and I hand it back to you.
Yes, Abhishek, we are live with those images. So like I said, Republic, remember, reporting not just from New Delhi, where you see a lot of political maneuvering happening. The opposition, they're trying to put the government on the back foot, forgetting that it has to be the Indian government response, not about any particular political party. And then there are also people who say, Abhishek, that economic costs, perhaps for China, need to be escalated. China has to pay the price for these many, many misadventures it has been getting into over the last few weeks to the last few months. There is a clear pattern. And before we go back to our colleagues reporting also from very close to Tawang and from Leh and from New Delhi back, let's also get you a quick insight into what has happened in Jammu a little earlier. In fact, after the face-off in Tawang, it's a protest against China that broke out in Jammu. People are really, really angry, and they say that now you need to escalate the costs for China.
तरीके से हरकत की है, कहीं ना कहीं पूरा देश नाराज है, पूरा देश गुस्से में। आप मेरे पीछे देख सकते हैं, यहाँ पे डोगरा फ्रंट के द्वारा यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट किया जा रहा है। उन्हीं से हम जानने की कोशिश करते हैं क्या मैसेज देने की कोशिश आप कर रहे हैं। आपके द्वारा लगातार सुबह से ही प्रोटेस्ट किया जा रहा है, क्या मैसेज देना चाह रहे हैं आप?
आर्या पार एक ही बार लगातार गलबान जैसी परिस्थितियां पैदा करो और आर पार करो। कोविड जैसी परिस्थितियां बना करके वो इस तरह की बातें करना चाहता है। जब तक उसके अंदर के हालात खराब हैं, आर्या पार एक ही बार लगातार।
बिल्कुल आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट किया जा रहा है। क्या सरकार से डिमांड है आपकी?
आर्या पार, हम यही चाहते हैं। आर्या पार, चाइना सुधरने वाला नहीं है क्योंकि कोविड उसके घर में हुआ है। वो एक डाइवर्ट करना चाहता है किसी कंट्री को कोविड के लोग बचकर जो हमारे चाइना पे वो ना करें, उन्हें लड़ाई का युद्ध कर दिया। हम चाहते हैं कि ये आर्या पार।
बिल्कुल यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं जो लोग हैं काफी गुस्से में हो। तमाम जो भी प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं उनका एक मांग है कि जल्द से जल्द चाइना को सबक सिखाया जाए, जिस तरीके से पाकिस्तान को सबक सिखाया गया है। कहीं ना कहीं एक चाइना को भी मैसेज यहाँ पे जाना चाहिए। आपके द्वारा यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट किया जा रहा है, सुबह से प्रोटेस्ट किया जा रहा है और लगातार ये डिमांड की जा रही है कि चाइना को भी पाकिस्तान जैसा सबक सिखाना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल, जैसे गलबान की स्थिति है वैसा हमको पता करने का प्रयास करना होगा। और एक बड़ा स्पष्ट है, इस तरह की बातें, वो जो कोविड वहाँ छाया हुआ है उसके ध्यान को डाइवर्ट करने के लिए इस तरह की सारी बातें की जा रही हैं। और वो समझता है कि ये युद्ध कर।
चाइना कौन सी भाषा समझना चाहता है यहाँ पे?
देखिए, चाइना को एक ही भाषा समझ आती है, वो आती है डंडे की और गोली की। तैयारी करके आया था, अपने फौजियों के हाथ में इलेक्ट्रिक बैटन्स दिए थे, टेजर गन दी थी और बेसबॉल लगे कीलीवर डंडे दिए थे। फिर भी हमारे लोगों ने, हमारी फौज ने उखाड़ करके बाहर फेंक दिया है। अरे जिस प्रकार से उत्तराखंड में हिंदुस्तान और अमेरिका की एक ज्वाइंट एक्सरसाइज हुई है, अरुणाचल प्रदेश के अंदर 2000 करोड़ रुपए से एक पैरेलल सड़क बनाई जा रही है और 2 दिन पहले सूर्य मिसाइल की टेस्टिंग की गई है जिसकी अनऑफिशियल रेंज 10,000 किलोमीटर, पूरा चाइना कवर होता है। घबरा गया है, बौखला गया है और कोविड के फ्रंट पर जिस तरीके से वो फेल हुआ है, अटेंशन को डाइवर्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है। और एक बात और कहना चाहता हूं देश की ऑपोजिशन से, अरे इकट्ठे होकर के बैठिए। देश की सेना की बात है, देश की सेना को गौरवान्वित कीजिए, उसके साथ रहिए, ना कि एक दूसरे की टांग खींच करके देश को नीचे लेकर के आइए।
देश का ऑपोजिशन राहुल गांधी तो यहाँ पर कहीं ना कहीं सेना पे सवाल उठाते हैं और कहते हैं कि जो अग्निपुत्र है हमारे, जब उनको निकाला जाएगा तो जूते से निकाला जाएगा।
अरे जूते तो किसको पड़ेंगे, वो चुनावों में देख लिया, गुजरात में दिखाई गया, हिमाचल में तो चलिए जीत गए और एमसीडी के चुनावों में देख लिया किसको किसने जूतने मारे। पर एक बात और कहना चाहता हूं, जब आप सवाल उठाएंगे, एवरी एक्शन हैज इक्वल एंड ऑपोजिट रिएक्शन। राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन ने चाइनीज एम्बेसी से 1 करोड़ 25 लाख रुपए की फंडिंग ली थी, उसका क्या जवाब देंगे? कौन सी रिसर्च और कौन सी स्टडी आप लोगों ने कंडक्ट की है? अरे बाहर तो निकाल करके दिखाइए, 1972 के युद्ध के अंदर कितने एकड़ जमीन चाइना को आपने दान दे दी। अरे और सो कॉल्ड आपका जाकिर नायक 50 लाख रुपए उसने दिया। अगर जाकिर नायक जैसा आदमी राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 50 लाख दे रहा है और उनको दे रहे हैं,
तौर पर यहाँ पे लोगों का कहना है कि राजनीति से दूर कहीं ना कहीं सभी जितने भी राजनीतिक पार्टी हैं उनको एकजुट होना पड़ेगा और सेना का साथ देना पड़ेगा। जिस तरीके से चीन ने यहाँ पर हमारे सीमा में घुसने की कोशिश की, उसको मुंह तोड़ जवाब यहाँ पे देने की जरूरत है। रिपब्लिक भारत के लिए लोमस झा।
So interesting, remember that's the response on the streets in Jammu. People actually believe that there is a larger sinister plot by Beijing. Why? Because Beijing and Xi Jinping, remember right now, is so much closeted in his own home turf. You know, he's actually fighting against a lot of odds right now. And is this just a distraction then? In fact, that's a bit of the story that we'll just touch with Abhishek and our colleagues in a bit. But coming back to what happened earlier in the parliament, you know, amidst all the opposition creating a lot of ruckus, even the question hour had to be suspended over Tawang. The Union Home Minister, Amit Shah, took on the Congress party. Now, what has Amit Shah said? He's questioned the Congress's hypocrisy on China. He's also reminded the Congress party of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding. He's also accused the Congress party of trying to stall the parliament to avoid the questions on the controversial Chinese funding of the foundation. And if you recall, remember that's that famous picture of Rahul Gandhi whining and dining with the former Chinese ambassador. So will the Congress party respond to that? Let's listen in to what we heard from Amit Shah.
नंबर का प्रश्न देखकर मैं इनकी चिंता समझ गया। 5 नंबर के प्रश्न है राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन के FCRA रजिस्ट्रेशन को रद्द करने के बारे में। अब उन्हीं के कांग्रेस के ही सदस्य के द्वारा ये प्रश्न पूछा गया और जवाब में बहुत स्पष्ट था। अगर मौका देते तो मैं सदन के पटल पर भी बताता कि राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-07 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था। चूंकि FCRA के कानून और उसकी मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं था, तो नोटिस देकर पूर्णतया कानूनी प्रक्रिया का अनुपालना करते हुए गृह मंत्रालय ने इसका रजिस्ट्रेशन रद्द किया था। फाउंडेशन ने अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन सामाजिक कार्यों के लिए करवाया है और ये जो राशि चीनी दूतावास से मिली, इसका उपयोग भारत चीन संबंधों के विकास पर शोध करने के लिए ये पैसा दिया गया है।
So that is Amit Shah's big attack on the Congress party, but what will the Congress party say now? How have they responded? This is the first response coming in from the President, Mallikarjun Kharge.
Rule 267 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Council of States of my intention to move the following motion for the suspension of business listed for 13 December 2022. Our national security and a territorial integrity is being impinged upon by brazen Chinese transgressions as the government remains a mute spectator. The valor of our armed forces in Galwan Valley, Ladakh is well known, but China has brazenly transgressed into our territory since April 2020. The illegal and unprovoked Chinese transgressions upon Y Junction in Dipiang Plains continues till date. Similar is the state of Chinese transgressions into Gogra and Hot Springs area in eastern Ladakh.
उसके बारे में भी हम आज चर्चा करना चाहते थे, इसीलिए हमने सभी अपोजिशन पार्टी के नेताओं ने मिलकर नोटिस भी दिया था, लेकिन वो चर्चा के लिए तैयार नहीं थे। एक स्टेटमेंट वो भी हमारे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने दिया और जल्दी चले गए। हाँ, ये हमारे सदन की प्रथा रही है, प्रैक्टिस रही है कि जब कोई स्टेटमेंट मिनिस्टर करता है किसी विषय पे तो उस पर क्लैरिफिकेशन पूछा जाता है और हमको यही कहा गया सदन के नेता ने और हमारे डिप्टी सभापति ने भी यही कहा कि क्लैरिफिकेशन का अवकाश है, लेकिन क्लैरिफिकेशन को भी उन्होंने हमको मौका नहीं दिया और हमारे बात सुनने के लिए भी वो तैयार नहीं है। हम यही चाहते थे कि चर्चा के बाद सुन के वो रिप्लाई दे, हम सुनने के लिए तैयार थे, लेकिन उन्होंने इस मसले को अपने ही तरीके से एक प्रचार लेने के लिए अपनी बात रखे और चले गए। ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। देश एकजुट रह के, हम देश के एकजुटता के लिए, एकता के लिए सभी मिलके काम कर रहे हैं। इसी में हमारे जो आज जवान लोग बहुत से पहले से शहीद हुए थे और आज भी बहुत घायल हो गए और कितने उसमें बचेंगे, हम तो ये कामना करेंगे कि उनको जल्दी वो स्पीडीली रिकवर हो जाए और जल्द से जल्द वो फिर काम पे लगे। लेकिन
So that is the response coming in from Congress's Mallikarjun Kharge to the very, very sharp attack, Abhishek, that has come in from the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. he's completely muted on the point-by-point charge that has been leveled by Amit Shah. Not that, it's a political charge. The point is that all that is in history. We've all seen pictures of Rahul Gandhi wining and dining with the former Chinese ambassador. And when the Congress party is questioned on that, why do they find it so difficult to even explain themselves? And then they will say, देश को एक साथ रहना चाहिए.
Well, maybe because there is no answer, maybe because the answers are difficult, maybe because they are embarrassing, and that's the reason why perhaps the question hour was avoided. I don't know, because there was some confusion. The Home Minister mentioned question number 5. It seems from the papers it was question number 85, and so might not have come for an answer during that 1 hour, or might have, we don't know. What is important is that the Home Minister has raised a question, a set of questions in fact, on the political aspect of this entire controversy, even as our soldiers continue to remain at the vanguard and defend our borders. Deepti, the politics of it, as I said, we have not seen the last of it. The Congress party has given a muted response, and that's really interesting, because if the opposition taken together really wants to put the government on the mat, and we have seen some irresponsible statements also coming in with possible demoralizing consequences insofar as the morale of the forces is concerned, this response does not really energize the opposition to really take on the government. So I think that's why we are seeing in this entire issue the government really sort of getting a cakewalk despite the build-up, despite the comments made, despite the adjournment motions and other provisions that were activated by the opposition to force the government to get a discussion going in the parliament on the issue of India-China standoff. We are told by our sources, I have made a couple of calls since morning, that the government has absolutely no problem in putting across its point of view. They have done that earlier also, they said, in the case of External Affairs Minister. In fact, on the first day of the session itself, making a comment, making a statement, a comprehensive one on India's foreign policy, and in fact giving an entire para to our situation so far as China is concerned. So it's not that the government is unwilling, it's just that the opposition perhaps has not been energetic enough, aggressive enough in terms of putting the government on the mat, and that's why this absolutely muted response by Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, to a very sharp attack by Union Home Minister.
Okay, Abhishek, very briefly, I want to understand what is the thinking in New Delhi. Is there even a sense that the costs have then to be increased for China? Because considering, there is a lot of trade right now happening between New Delhi and Beijing, could that be one factor that India might be willing to review in the light of, so many provocations over the last few months?
Well, a trade situation has been reached over decades, at least over the last decade and a half. So obviously, if you have to taper it off, it's going to take a bit of time. We have to have our own manufacturing base, on which the government is focusing, and this might pan out in long term, mid to long term, between 5 to 10 years. Having said that, policy measures have been put in place. Hundreds and thousands of Chinese apps banned. Trade with China through the direct route or foreign investment from China through the direct route completely stopped, and even other measures put in place to make sure that the Chinese companies pay. For example, the investigations that are going on. In fact, yesterday only, Deepti, there was a reply given in the Lok Sabha in response to question hour, in which the government informed the people through the parliament that there are as many as 3,500 companies which have Chinese nationals as directors, and so obviously those kind of data sets are being generated now to keep a close watch on Chinese activity in India. We have seen a major crackdown being done by the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI, for example, whenever the Chinese companies have been found to be on the wrong side of law in terms of following norms, rules, bylaws, even on the corporate side. So all those things are there. They are going to take time. Yes. But as of now, what the army had to do, they have done, and diplomatically it has been communicated to the Chinese as well.
Yes. Abhishek, why don't you stay with us? Let's quickly recap what we know on the story so far. In fact, quick highlights of how we've seen developments spanning out through the entire day. As I say, thank you to you only for the moment, Abhishek, but amidst the escalating tensions, remember that we've seen at the LAC, that's a line of actual control, the Chinese troop, this is information now coming in, reportedly behaved like an unprofessional army during the standoff in the Pangong Tso Lake area in eastern Ladakh sector. Now, the soldiers of China's People's Liberation Army, that's the PLA, reportedly used stones. They used sticks and clubs with barbed wires during the face-off with the Indian security forces. Minor injuries to few personnel have also been reported in the clash, and sources indicate these injured soldiers have been shifted to the base hospital in Guwahati. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, the Army Chief General Manoj Pandey earlier have met the Raksha Mantri and briefed him on the current situation post the Tawang face-off. This happened ahead of the Parliament session, where the Raksha Mantri has also put out a detailed statement. In the meantime, Union Minister Kiren Rijiju has said that although India has emerged as a soft power, but India is united. It has also become more powerful. He's further added that Arunachal Pradesh is a part of India since ancient times, and the Prime Minister, he says, has presented it in a beautiful way. So our forces are fighting on the border, but the Congress continues to question the army. They claim major gaps in deployment, but completely silent on the many charges leveled by the Union Home Minister. We get you their entire story and much more in a live reportage after this very quick break.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Moolganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests.
पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया. अध्यक्ष महोदय,
The Raksha Mantri briefs the Parliament on Tawang. He makes it absolutely clear, not an inch given or a single casualty on the Indian side.
टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Our forces give it back to China's provocation. Raksha Mantri tells the Parliament Indian soldiers force the Chinese to retreat.
गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय वर्षाल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35,00,000 रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ है।
Home Minister reminds the Congress of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding. Amit Shah takes on the Congress for their doublespeak on China. Home Minister Amit Shah also attacks the Congress. He says the party is creating ruckus and stalling Parliament to avoid questions about the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Our forces fight on the border, but the Congress continues to question the army, claims major gaps in deployment.
लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आदमी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे, लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है वो बीच बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है।
Not an inch of soil can be taken, says the residents of Tawang, who stand firmly with our forces. Welcome back. You're with us here on Republic, and our focus is on what happened in Tawang. Remember, you've heard the Raksha Mantri responding to the opposition, putting out a very detailed statement, and the operative word again and again, I repeat, is the fact that unilaterally you had the PLA that was wanting to change the status quo. And following that remark also, you've seen consistent attacks by the opposition parties who want to politicize this. We have a fresh reaction that's just coming in from the Uttarakhand Chief Minister, who is reiterating that this is an issue that is about national security, and he says that the opposition must refrain from politicizing the same.
सैनिकों पर, देश की सेना की वीरता शौर्य पराक्रम पर हमेशा सवाल उठाते रहे हैं। इन लोगों के लिए देश से ज़्यादा अपनी राजनीति है, इसलिए ऐसे लोगों पर मैं बहुत टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता। देखिए, कुछ लोग हमेशा सैनिकों पर, देश की सेना की वीरता शौर्य पराक्रम पर हमेशा सवाल उठाते रहे हैं। इन लोगों के लिए देश से ज़्यादा अपनी राजनीति है, इसलिए ऐसे लोगों पर मैं बहुत टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता।
So that is the first reaction coming in from the Uttarakhand Chief Minister. And do remember, every reaction right now is important, because you've seen China opening up a lot of fronts, whether it's the eastern sector, the western sector, or even the central sector there, that is the middle sector, Himachal and Uttarakhand. But what about the politics on the entire story? The Congress party has politicized this entire face-off. They've raised questions on the army's claim on PLA. The Congress claims that there are major gaps in deployment. They also, in fact, say that this is a government that has lied to the Parliament, and the Congress party, remember, is completely muted on the n number of questions that are being raised by the Home Minister Amit Shah.
It's a very unfortunate incident. First of all, the Indian Army and our soldiers need to be complimented for repulsing the Chinese, who, as I understand, came to attack an established post of the Indian Army in Yangtze. But let's wait for the official statement from the government, because we have all given adjournment notices. We would want a discussion in the House on the situation with regard to China. Question is not that Galwan was repulsed or Tawang was repulsed. Our armed forces are more than capable of doing that. Question is, why is China repeatedly doing that? That is the question.
सर, किस तरह देखते हैं आप LAC पे जो हुआ?
देखिए, बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, और सबसे पहले तो मैं अपने जांबाज सिपाहियों को मुबारक देना चाहता हूं जिन्होंने चीन को मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया। पर बुनियादी सवाल ये नहीं है कि गलवान में हमने चीनियों को मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया या यांगसी में मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया, क्योंकि भारत की सेना में वो क्षमता है कि भारत की और कोई भी आंख उठाने की कोशिश करेगा तो भारतीय सेना उसका पूरी तरह से जवाब देगी। बुनियादी सवाल ये है कि ये क्यों हो रहा है, चीन की मंशा क्या है, और इसीलिए हमने काम रोको प्रस्ताव दिया है सरकार से ये पूछने के लिए कि ये भारत चीन रिश्तों के ऊपर एक व्यापक बहस की जरूरत है।
डोकलाम में भी जैसे पहले चीन ने दुस्साहस करके कब्जा किया था, अनकन्फर्म्ड खबरें ये आ रही हैं कि डोकलाम के अंदर भी चीन ने दोबारा कब्जा कर लिया है। चिकन्स नेक तक, जिससे हमारे सातों उत्तर पूर्व के प्रांतों की सुरक्षा खतरे में पड़ती है, चीन ने सड़कें बना ली हैं, परमानेंट स्ट्रक्चर्स बना लिए हैं। लद्दाख में हमारे बॉर्डर पर अनेकों शेल्टर्स बना लिए हैं। वो सारे मैप्स जो हैं हमने रिलीज किए थे, पर ना रक्षा मंत्री कुछ कहते, ना प्रधानमंत्री कुछ कहते। देश की राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा से खिलवाड़ हो रहा है और मोदी सरकार चुप बैठी है, अपनी जिम्मेवारी से पीछे हट रही है। हमारी मांग है संसद के अंदर भी और संसद के बाहर भी प्रधानमंत्री खुद लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में सामने आकर चीन ने जिस जिस क्षेत्र में अनाधिकृत कब्जा किया हमारी सरजमी पर, उस पर जवाब दें और बताएं कि 2 साल पहले की यथास्थिति कब तक वो लागू करेंगे, क्योंकि यहां तो ये भी कहा जा रहा है कि अब चीन ने तो मोदी सरकार से बात तक करने से इनकार कर दिया।
के एक दूर दराज गांव में मैं घूम रहा हूं। कल मुझे डीसी तवांग से मेरा एक चर्चा हुआ, जहां हमने सुना था कि कुछ घुसपैठी हुई थी। भारत के जवानों को उन आक्रामक रूप से बहुत सारा जवानों को घायल किया। जो डोकलाम वाला इशू है या जो लेह में जो हुआ है, वैसा रवैया शुरू कर दिया। फिर यहाँ हमारा बहुत शांतिपूर्वक एरिया है, हमारा अरुणाचल प्रदेश में, चाहे वो किबितो में हो या चागलाम में हो, वागेलिंग में हो या इवन बुमला में, तावांग में ऐसा घटना कभी नहीं हुआ था। हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हम शांति बना रखें यहाँ इन इलाकों में। कल हम जो सुना है 9 तारीख का शादी घटना हुई थी, लेकिन जो जितने भी फौज है, चीन के PLA हो या हमारे भारत के जो अफसरान, वो जाके उनका बीच में एक फ्लैग मीटिंग हुआ और उसमें दोनों ने शांति बना रखने के लिए कहा। लेकिन ये दुखित बात है कि जैसे सुंगडुंगची वैली में भी पहले भी ऐसा ही हुआ था कि चीन के लोग वहाँ आते हैं और जो ठंड का समय होता है, क्योंकि ये बर्फीला एरिया है, पूरा ठंड हो जाता है, तो उस समय जब ये आते हैं तो वो पूरा उसको कब्जा कर लेते हैं। तो हमको जो हमारा ब्रॉकपास है या हमारे वहाँ के जो याक को पालने वाले, वो आके आर्मी को खबर देती है। और इस बार हमारा आर्मी में जब वहाँ गया तो देखा कि हमारे इलाकों में वो लोग घुसपैठी कर चुके थे।
This is not the first time something like this is happening. However, our soldiers, as usual, were very brave and fought with a lot of valor. And we all hear that despite being very outnumbered, they foiled all the Chinese plans for any encroachment in our territory. Something like this has to be celebrated. Plus, whenever there is a conflict, these kind of things should not be politicized in any manner. And our armed forces should always be given maximum support by our political establishment and the people, which is what I mentioned in the tweet.
So you've heard those reactions coming in from the Congress's camp, again and again trying to put the government on the mat, clearly forgetting, remember, that when it is a situation like this and when it is versus a hostile neighbor like China, it has to be the Indian response versus China, not a BJP versus a Congress response. But that's a story, remember, that we'll keep diving in through this day as we are expecting more reactions to come in. What's happening on ground zero? Republic, remember, is getting very close to Tawang, where this entire skirmish has also been reported. In fact, our colleague Kishle is on way. But right now, I'm playing out this next report coming in from Mridul. This is in the LAC sector. And let's quickly put out what he's seen, the kind of voices that he's heard from people on ground zero, and what do they have to say.
कि आपको ये तस्वीर मैं दिखा रहा हूं, इस समय आखिरी चेक पॉइंट पर हम मौजूद हैं। सेना के जवान जो हैं किस तरीके से टुकड़ी जा रही हैं ये आप देख सकते हैं। और एहतियातन जब से डोकलाम का संघर्ष हुआ था उसके बाद इसी पॉइंट पर जो है भारतीय सेना के जवानों ने अपनी गश्त को बढ़ा दिया है। और विशेष तौर पर उस जगह पर इस गश्त को बढ़ाया गया है जहां पर पहुंचना मुमकिन नहीं होता है, जहां पर पहुंचना बहुत मुश्किल होता है। लेकिन भारतीय सेना के जवान आसपास पूरी मुस्तैदी के साथ यहां पर डटे हुए हैं। और ये पूरा का पूरा जो सेना का कॉन्वॉय है हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं, जो लेह की तरफ इस समय नीचे की ओर जा रहा है। अभी ऐसा ही जो गश्त करती हुई सेना की टुकड़ी थी वो ऊपर की ओर गई है। और ऊपर की ओर इस समय ठंड ज्यादा होने की वजह से सिर्फ और सिर्फ भारतीय सेना के जवान हैं जो भारत की रक्षा के लिए सीमा पर इस समय तैनात हैं।
We head into a break right now. When we come back, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah has attacked the Congress party and he says the Congress is creating ruckus and stalling Parliament to avoid questions on the Rajiv Gandhi foundations. We'll have that full story and a live reportage on the other side of this very quick break.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister MK Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister MK Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours.
Let's get you a quick check of our top stories at this hour. Amidst the escalating tensions at the line of actual control, the Chinese troops reportedly behaved like an unprofessional army during the standoff in the Pangsong So Lake area, this in the eastern Ladakh sector. Soldiers of the PLA reportedly were using stones, sticks and clubs with barbed wires during the face-off with the Indian security forces. Minor injuries to few personnel have also been reported in the clash. Sources suggest the injured soldiers have now been shifted to the base hospital in Guwahati. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and the Army Chief General Manoj Pandey have met with the Raksha Mantri in Delhi, also briefed him on the current situation post the Tawang face-off, this ahead of the Parliament session. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju has said that although India has emerged as a soft power, but India is united, it has become powerful. He's also added that Arunachal Pradesh is a part of India since ancient times, and Prime Minister, he says, has presented it in a beautiful way. When we come back, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is attacking the Congress. He says the party is creating ruckus and stalling Parliament to avoid questions on the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. How has the Congress responded? The full story when we come back.
कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा।
इसलिए ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, सपने आपके, लैमिनेट्स हमारा। अमेजिंग स्पेसेस के लिए कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा।
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister MK Stallin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land.
The AIMIM chief Assaduddin Owaisi has said that China has learned from past experiences at Doklam, Depsang, Galwan and Demchok, but he says that the Indian government is not ready to accept this invasion, and he alleges that the government is using their friendly media to spin a different story. Therefore, he says China continues to invade bit by bit without making any noise. Extending support to the Indian Army, villagers say that not an inch of Indian soil can be taken over by China. Villagers continue to stand firm with our forces.
ये जो अभी एग्रीगेशन है ये बार बार चाइना की तरफ से होता है बीच में, तो लेकिन अभी हमारा इंडियन आर्मी जो अभी 1962 के बाद तो अभी
वही लोग वो लोग भी काफी बात कर रहे हैं इसके बारे में कि चाइना की तरफ से ऐसा इंकर्शन बार बार ऐसा होगा तो क्या स्टेप लिया जाएगा इसके हिसाब से। और सभी कोई बहुत बहुत यहाँ पे टेंशन भी चल रहा है और आर्मी का मूवमेंट भी चल रहा है, ये हम लोग देख रहे हैं ग्राउंड जीरो से।
So that, in fact, is our colleague Kishle, who's reporting live right now from Tawang. He's actually reached there and just getting us the first-person ground report of what he's seen as he's driven through that entire area. And we'll try and see if we can listen in back to him. He's also live.
On our way to Tawang, and this road leads to Tawang, and the road directly leads to a small village that I am showing. That village is a village in this sector of Tenga Valley. Behind that village is the whole Tawang sector where we are going to, where we will be leading to. Republic Network is one of the networks which is in the ground zero of this whole clash which happened yesterday between Indian Army and Chinese Army as well. And what we saw yesterday was that Indian Army forced the Chinese Army to back out from the line of actual control, and behind that village is the Tawang sector, and then comes the Chinese-India-China border where this whole incident happened, where the Chinese incursion happened. We are going towards that area, and we'll be reporting from ground zero, and we will be showing the exact location of that particular clash where this whole where the Chinese incursion happened. Therefore, Republic Network is keeping an eye on all the activities as we were coming from this area. From this whole area was.
Okay, Kishle, I hope you can hear me this time around. You're live. How far are you from that exact spot that has seen this skirmish? Because, you know, I do appreciate it's a very sensitive situation still developing, the reason why there is limited bit of information coming out. But the government, I think, is putting the facts absolutely clear. They tell us what happened. We have the inside track on what happened in those 15 to 20 minutes. And finally, the PLA troops were forced to retreat.
Well, exactly, Samiksha. I'll first tell you, when we reached here, when we reached this area, we saw several number of army vehicles moving from this road which leads to Tawang sector, this road. And this road leads to Tawang sector, and as my video journalist is showing, Sanjay Naya is showing that this whole area was full of army vehicles and they were leading towards Tawang. Therefore, it is very clear that Indian Army is not keeping any stones unturned in terms of the security of this whole area. And behind me is that village, and that village is situated exactly in Tenga Valley, and Tenga Valley is one of the largest army barracks on its way to this particular area where the clash happened, where the PLA wanted to come in contact with the line of actual control. Behind that village is the area. Behind that village is the particular area of Tawang sector where the clash happened, and therefore Republic is reporting from ground zero. Almost we are reaching that spot where exactly PLA was trying to come in. Also, government source and army sources are telling us that there are high-level meetings which are being chaired in order to understand that what can be the course of actions next after this. Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, clearly told in the Parliament that Indian Army has given a befitting reply to the PLA, to the Chinese Army, and forced them to back out. That's what happened in Doklam as well. That's what happened to Galwan as well. And now we see Tawang. Therefore, PLA is not stopping its illegal ways of trying to come in contact with the LAC and hindering the peace in this area. However, Indian Army is always ready, and that's what we saw when we saw that all the army vehicles were moving through this road, and which leads to Tawang sector. Therefore, Indian Army is very active in this area. There were several fighter jets which we saw were flying a while back from this area. We will be reporting from ground zero, from exactly the spot where this whole incident happened, and we will be getting more versions. Samiksha.
Okay, Kishle there, getting us that ground reportage. He's, remember, en route Tawang, and as soon as you reach there, Kishle, you'll realize it's an unforgivable terrain. It is so very cold. In spite of that, you have our forces there standing their ground. The reason why it's again and again, remember, important.
वो सबके सामने है, लेकिन चीन के साथ भी कुछ मामला बन नहीं रहा है। अभी तक जहां लद्दाख में वो घुसे हैं, पूरी तरह से वापस नहीं गए। और आज खबर आ रही है कि अरुणाचल प्रदेश में भी कुछ हाथापाई हुई है। हम तो यही चाहेंगे कि वाजपेयी साहब की जो शब्द हैं, उन्होंने कहा कि दोस्त बदलाए जा सकते हैं, पड़ोसी बदलाए नहीं जा सकते। हम अपने पड़ोसी बदला नहीं सकते हैं। उनके साथ बेहतर रिश्ते ज़रूर बना सकते हैं, लेकिन ताली एक हाथ से नहीं बजती, दो हाथ से बजती है। इसमें चीन की भी जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि वो एक अच्छा रिश्ता इस मुल्क के साथ बनाए। और ये जो सरहद पे ये तू मैं या हाथापाई हो रही है, इसको रोक दिया जाना चाहिए। तक तो क्या
भारत जोड़ो यात्रा कुछ ही वक्त के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर पहुंचेगी। जिस तरह से हमने देखा कि महाराष्ट्र में अपोजिशन पार्टी जो है वो भारत जोड़ो का हिस्सा बनी, क्या यहाँ पर आप भारत जोड़ो का हिस्सा बने?
मुझे लगता है इस बात का इशारा पहले ही हमारे तंजीम के सदर जनाब।
So that's a response that has just come in from Omar Abdullah. And, it's rather rich that you have opposition parties today wanting to show the mirror up to the government and his own father. I must reiterate that Farooq Abdullah not very recently had said that hope Article 370 is restored in the valley with the help of China. So that, remember, is the truth of the opposition parties, something that they do not want to appreciate and talk about. But Republic, remember, through this day today is getting you more live coverage of what's happening, as our reporters are also on ground zero and back also to what happened in the parliament. Fireworks there. But why is the Congress today cornered on their history with Beijing?
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been
Very good afternoon. You're watching Superfast 50 at 3 p.m. I'm Situational Sound, getting you all the top 50 stories we're tracking for you this afternoon as Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has assured that India will act tough and India will not let even an inch of land go to China. Rajnath Singh met with Army Chief General Manoj Pandey, National Security Advisor of Ajit Doval and other top officials this morning to discuss the security situation at the LAC in a high-level meeting. In his statement, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also said that he had full faith in the bravery of the Indian Army and that China unilaterally tried to change the status quo in Arunachal Pradesh, but the Indian forces thwarted that attempt and forced them to retreat to their side of the border.
9 दिसंबर 2022 को PLA ट्रुप्स ने तवांग सेक्टर के यांगसे एरिया में लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल पर अतिक्रमण कर स्टेटस को एक तरफा बदलने का प्रयास किया। चाइना के इस प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया है, अध्यक्ष महोदय।
Having expressed faith in the Indian Army, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that there have been no major injuries on our side.
दोनों ओर के कुछ सैनिकों को चोटें भी आई हैं और मैं इस सदन को अवगत कराना चाहता हूं कि हमारे किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ है।
Rajnath Singh said that Indian Army's timely intervention ensured China's retreat to their side.
मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण PLA सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए, अध्यक्ष महोदय। और इस घटना के पश्चात एरिया के लोकल कमांडर ने 11 दिसंबर 2022 को अपने चाइनीज काउंटर पार्ट के साथ स्थापित व्यवस्था के तहत एक फ्लैग मीटिंग की।
Rajnath Singh continued to attack the Congress, where he said that China occupied Indian territory during Congress rule. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also pointed out in the Parliament that the Indian Army raised the very issue strongly with China and will continue to give a befitting reply. He also appreciated the bravery shown by our soldiers and said that they have saved our land. He also raised the 2010 issue of the Chinese issuing paper visas to residents of Jammu and Kashmir. While expressing strong faith in the Indian Army, Rajnath Singh said that India has forced China to retreat and to go back.
प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया है, अध्यक्ष महोदय। और इस फेस ऑफ में हाथापाई भी हुई है। भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से PLA को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया, अध्यक्ष महोदय।
With a tough fight coming from the center as well as the Indian Army, India's strategy has completely stunned China. Meanwhile, the Congress had raised the border issue in the Parliament to avoid questions on the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's FCRA. This is exactly what was said by Home Minister Amit Shah in the Parliament.
5 नंबर का प्रश्न देखकर मैं इनकी चिंता समझ गया। 5 नंबर के प्रश्न है राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन के FCRA रजिस्ट्रेशन को रद्द करने के बारे में। अब उन्हीं के कांग्रेस के ही सदस्य के द्वारा ये प्रश्न पूछा गया।
Home Minister Amit Shah alleged that Rajiv Gandhi Foundation had got 1.35 crore rupees from the Chinese embassy, but the registration was cancelled as it was not according to FCRA rules. India's permanent seat in the UN Security Council was also sacrificed because of Nehru's love for China, is the statement made by the Home Minister.
चीनी दूतावास से 1 करोड़ 35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था। चूंकि FCRA के कानून और उसकी मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं था, तो नोटिस देकर पूर्णतया कानूनी प्रक्रिया का अनुपालना करते हुए गृह मंत्रालय ने इसका रजिस्ट्रेशन रद्द किया है।
While escalating the attack on the Congress, Home Minister Amit Shah said that the truth about the party lies in question number 5, which was on China funding.
मुझे भी थोड़ा आश्चर्य लगा। फिर मैंने प्रश्नकाल के सूची को देखा तो 5 नंबर का प्रश्न देखकर मैं इनकी चिंता समझ गया। 5 नंबर के प्रश्न है राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन के FCRA रजिस्ट्रेशन को रद्द करने के बारे में। अब उन्हीं के कांग्रेस के ही सदस्य के द्वारा यह प्रश्न पूछा गया।
While adding to the charges, Amit Shah said that the Congress violated FCRA rules and also demanded answers from the party on the same.
गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35,00,000 रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था। चूंकि FCRA के कानून और उसकी मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं था, तो नोटिस देकर पूर्णतया कानूनी प्रक्रिया का अनुपालना करते हुए गृह मंत्रालय ने इसका रजिस्ट्रेशन रद्द किया है।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that Congress received funds from China and this was for the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, where he went on to question the Congress about this, but no answers have come in yet.
चीन ने जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को स्टेपल वीजा जारी करने की प्रथा शुरू की, ये भी क्या आपका शोध का विषय था। 2011 में कांग्रेस सरकार ने चीन की धमकी के बाद हमारे रोड और वाइटल बॉर्डर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स का निर्माण डैम चौक में रोक दिया। ये क्यों रोका गया, इसकी भी शोध की है। मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी को पूछना चाहता हूं, ये दोगला रवैया जनता के सामने नहीं चलता है।
Well, while escalating the attack against the Congress party, Union Home Minister Amit Shah claimed that Congress had taken funds from China, also questioning the party on whether they did research on having dinner with China during Galwan. Amid back-to-back attacks by Union Home Minister Amit Shah, where he went on to question the Grand Old Party, he asked if it had researched on stapled visas in a full frontal attack.
में चीन ने जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को स्टेपल वीजा जारी करने की प्रथा शुरू की, ये भी क्या आपका शोध का विषय था।
No one can capture 1 inch of land till the Narendra Modi government is in power. This was a statement made by Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who said on Tuesday that the opposition demanded a discussion on clashes between Indian and Chinese forces along the LAC in Arunachal Pradesh. Amit Shah applauded Indian soldiers for their valor. That statement he made, which reads, and I quote, "I want to say it clearly. Till the time the BJP government is led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is in power, no one can capture even an inch of our land." Home Minister Amit Shah also said that Congress had bent rules to get China's funding. He went on to question them on the FCRA violation as well. Amid escalating tension at the line of actual control, Chinese troops reportedly behaved like an unprofessional army, quote-unquote, during the standoff in the Pangong Tso Lake area in eastern Ladakh sector, where the soldiers of China's People's Liberation Army, that is PLA troops, reportedly used stones, sticks and clubs with barbed wires during the face-off with the Indian security forces. Minor injuries to few personnel in clashes were reported. However, sources suggest that injured soldiers were later shifted to a hospital in Guwahati, where they are receiving treatment. Meanwhile, Union Minister Kiran Rijiju said that although India had emerged as a soft power, India is united and has become powerful. He also further said that Arunachal Pradesh is a part of India since ancient period and Prime Minister Modi had presented it in a beautiful way.
अतिक्रमण उससे वजह से नहीं है, अतिक्रमण का वो जो विषय होता है आज मैं नहीं बोलूँगा क्योंकि आज भारत बहुत ताकतवर देश है, बहुत बड़ा नेतृत्व जिसके पास सोच भी है, समझ भी है, जिसके पास विजन भी है.
Congress MPs have moved motion in Parliament. Congress claim that there are major gaps in Army's deployment and further said that China had occupied areas since 2020. This was a statement made by Manish Tiwari. AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi said that China had learned from experiences at Doklam, Dapsang, Galwan and Demchok and that for PMO, India will accept this invasion and use his friendly media to spin a different story. Therefore, China continues to invade bit by bit without making any noise. While extending support to the Indian Army, villagers say that not an inch of Indian soil can be taken over by China. Villagers stand firm with the Indian Army.
एक्चुअली अभी ये जो अभी एग्रेशन है ये बार बार चाइना की तरफ से होता है बीच बीच में तो लेकिन अभी हमारा इंडियन आर्मी जो अभी 1962 के बाद तो अभी काफ़ी बहुत आगे बढ़ चुका है तो मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आर्मी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है वो बीच बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है लेकिन आज का डेट में हमारा इंडियन आर्मी के पास सब कुछ हथियार से लेके हमारा इंडियन आर्मी जितना अभी आगे बढ़ चुका है तो चाइना तो कुछ भी नहीं है अभी.
Congress MP Ninong Ering has said that China wants to infiltrate our land and that the central government must keep an eye to eye in order to monitor the situation. Damopana police arrested former Minister Raja Pateria, a Congress leader who had gone on to make that controversial remark against Prime Minister Modi and had called for kill Modi. The arrest took place in the morning from Pateria's residence in Hata of Damod district where an FIR, you would remember, had been filed yesterday. Prime Minister Modi today paid floral tributes to the martyrs of the 2001 war at the Parliament House on its 17th anniversary. ID was found in North Kashmir's Sopore area along with the Kupwara bypass road. BDS, that is the bomb disposal squad, was called and traffic was stopped. Later, the operation was carried out by the Army's 52 RR and Sopore police. 6 people, including 2 young police officers, were shot and killed at a property in rural Australia after officers who arrived to investigate reports of a missing person were ambushed. Authorities put out information on this on Tuesday. A San Diego police officer was shot multiple times during a foot pursuit early Monday and a suspect was taken into custody after an hour-long standoff. Supporters of Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro clashed with the police, setting fire to several vehicles and allegedly attempting to invade the federal police's headquarters in the capital city of Brasilia. Riot police are still holding ranks to prevent protesters from reaching the Peruvian Congress. Demonstrators are demanding representatives resign after a constitutional crisis that ended in a presidential transition when former President Pedro Castillo called to dissolve the Congress, which in turn ousted him. Heavy rainfall had caused flooding and landslides in parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Local authorities have introduced emergency measures and are warning residents to prepare to evacuate their homes. Clashes erupted on Monday during an opposition protest in Montenegro, reflecting a deep political crisis between the pro-Western and pro-Serb and pro-Russian camps in the small Balkan country that is a member of NATO. Supporters and family of prominent imprisoned Egyptian activist Alaa Abdel Fattah gathered outside London's Foreign Office on Monday to hold a Christmas vigil and to call for his release. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken stressed on the importance of partnership in remarks to an audience of entrepreneurs and innovators at the State Department on Monday evening. Party faces a looming water crisis from tourism development, population growth and water mismanagement. Experts and environmental groups have warned, while water shortages are already affecting UNESCO sites, wells, food production and Balinese culture, experts project these issues will worsen if existing policies are not equally enforced across the entire island. A winter storm that sent ski lift chairs swinging and closed mountain highways in the Sierra Nevada will push across the United States and reach the plains by midweek, bringing significant rain and below average temperatures. Former top soccer players such as Brazil's Cafu, Portugal's Nuno Gomes, Italian Del Piero and others took to the pitch during a World Cup encounter in Qatar on Monday, but this time no trophies were at stake. It was just for the sake of fun. So-called FIFA legends who took part in a friendly match with Qatar-based workers in the Al Thumama Stadium in Doha. Thousands of football fans, mostly Argentina supporters, jammed Doha's historic Souk Waqif on Monday, cheering the dancing in excitement ahead of their FIFA World Cup semi-final with Croatia. France trained ahead of the World Cup semi-final against Morocco. The defending champions will face the Atlas Lions on 14 December at Al Bayt Stadium. Morocco are the first African team to reach a World Cup semi-final. Brazil legend Ronaldo has said that he will always be at the disposal of the national team to help them within my possibilities, quote-unquote. The two-time World Cup winner continued saying, and I quote, obviously there won't be a contract involved, but surely in any other aspect I may be asked, I will volunteer to help my national team. 29 team-based camps across Australia and New Zealand have today been confirmed for the FIFA Women's World Cup Australia and New Zealand 2023. For the first time in FIFA Women's World Cup history, competing countries will use dedicated team-based camps in near year's tournament. A team-based camp that is the home away from home, quote-unquote, for teams and includes training site and accommodation. One of the world's oldest and largest sports federations is to change its name. FINA has been in existence since 1908, who were initially representing swimmers and then added artistic swimmers, divers, high divers, open water swimmers and water polo athletes. Its new name will be World Aquatics. The change was approved in a vote at an extraordinary General Congress in Melbourne. After a gap of 19 years, the prestigious Optimist Asian and Oceanian Championship will be staged in India in Mumbai. The week-long event will be held from 13th to 20th December 2022 under the aegis of the Maharashtra, Gujarat and Goa area and Army Yachting Note. Team India gears up to take on Bangladesh in the first test. The newly appointed captain for the opening match, KL Rahul, said that India would miss its regular captain Rohit Sharma and they're hoping that he recovers quickly and come back for the second test. The two-match test series will start from the 14th of December, while the second test will be held in Mirpur on the 22nd of December. England captain Jos Buttler claimed that ICC Men's Player of the Month award for November after being at his remarkable best with the bat in his side's charge to the T20I World Cup triumph in Australia last month, making his 100th T20I appearance. The opener smashed 73 from 47 balls to provide some much-needed momentum to England's campaign. Australia's all-conquering women's cricket team has suffered its first loss of 2022, going down to India in a T20 thriller. India beat Australia in the second women's T20I to draw level in the 5-match series, but the hosts had to play out as the match went right down to the super over. It also brought an end to Australia's unbeaten run in WT20Is in 2022.
हम इक्विप्ड हैं पूरी तरह से, आप ये कह रहे हैं?
जी हाँ, हम बहुत शानदार तरीके से इक्विप्ड हैं। हमारे पास किसी भी अस्त्र शस्त्र गोला बारूद की कमी नहीं है। एक हुक्म चाहिए बस।
यानी सिर्फ एक हुक्म की जरूरत है, एक फैसले की।
हाँ ये
And we continue to get you what is happening as far as the clashes that erupted between India and China Republic on the ground. The first in Tawang, to get you details after those skirmishes that were witnessed. And a full frontal attack by Home Minister Amit Shah and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh against the opposition, where Home Minister Amit Shah also questioned the Congress party over its Chinese link, over funding that has been received, over the deals that were struck with the CCP, and Rajnath Singh also putting out a full statement in the Parliament this afternoon over the clashes in Tawang, also saying that not an inch of land can be taken as far as the Modi government is in power. Also putting out all the details of what exactly had happened. Remember saying that there have been no casualties on our end, but some troops who have suffered injuries and are undergoing treatment. This is late early in the morning on December 9 when Chinese troops had carried out an incursion across the line of actual control in Yakse area of Tawang sector, and my colleague Mridul, who is on the ground along with Kishale, to get you a full report from Tawang and the present situation as far as troop movement is concerned.
ये तस्वीर मैं दिखा रहा हूं, इस समय आखिरी चेक पॉइंट पर हम मौजूद हैं। सेना के जवान जो हैं किस तरीके से टुकड़ी जा रही हैं ये आप देख सकते हैं, और एहतियातन जब से डोकलाम का संघर्ष हुआ था उसके बाद इसी पॉइंट पर जो है भारतीय सेना के जवानों ने अपनी गश्त को बढ़ा दिया है, और विशेष तौर पर उस जगह पर इस गश्त को बढ़ाया गया है जहां पर पहुंचना मुमकिन नहीं होता है, जहां पर पहुंचना बहुत मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन भारतीय सेना के जवान आसपास पूरी मुस्तैदी के साथ यहां पर डटे हुए हैं। और ये पूरा का पूरा जो सेना का कॉन्वॉय है हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं, जो लेह की तरफ इस समय नीचे की ओर जा रहा है। अभी ऐसा ही जो गश्त करती हुई सेना की टुकड़ी थी वो ऊपर की ओर गई है, और ऊपर की ओर इस समय ठंड ज्यादा होने की वजह से सिर्फ और सिर्फ भारतीय सेना के जवान हैं जो भारत की रक्षा के लिए सीमा पर इस समय तैनात हैं।
હું ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
હું ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport where the chaos and pandemic.
पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया. अध्यक्ष महोदय.
Defence Minister briefs Parliament on Tawang, makes it clear not an inch given, not a single casualty on the Indian side.
मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए. अध्यक्ष महोदय.
Our forces gave it back to China's provocation. Defence Minister tells Parliament Indian soldiers forced Chinese to retreat.
राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय वर्षाल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35,00,000 रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ.
Reminding the Congress of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding, Home Minister Amit Shah took on the Congress for doublespeak on China. Amit Shah attacked the Congress, saying the party creating ruckus and stalling Parliament is trying to avoid the question on Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Forces fight on border, but Congress continues to question the army, claims major gaps in deployment.
नहीं लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आर्मी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे. लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है, वो बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है.
Not an inch of soil can be taken, says the residents of Tawang, who stand firmly by Indian forces. Good afternoon and thank you for tuning in. I'm Suesha Sawant and getting you details of the briefing in the Lok Sabha on Tawang developments, where Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that Indian Army gave a befitting reply to the Chinese Army. Rajnath Singh also informed the Parliament that PLA troops attempted to change status quo in the Yangs area of the Tawang sector on December 9 in that skirmish. However, Defence Minister said that there was a hand-to-hand brawl and Indian forces forced the Chinese to go back to their post. Rajnath Singh also said that there was no casualty or no major injury on our side. Listen into that statement.
रक्षा मंत्री जी अपना बयान.
आदरणीय उपसभापति महोदय, मैं इस गरिमामयी सदन को अरुणाचल प्रदेश के तवांग सेक्टर में हमारी सीमा पर 9 दिसंबर 2022 को हुई एक घटना के बारे में अवगत कराना चाहूंगा. उपसभापति महोदय, 9 दिसंबर 2022 को चाइनीज पीएलए ट्रूप्स ने तवांग सेक्टर के यांगसे एरिया में लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल पर अतिक्रमण कर स्टेटस को एक तरफा बदलने का प्रयास किया. चाइना के इस प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया. उपसभापति और सदन को यह भी बताना चाहूंगा, इस फेस ऑफ में हाथापाई भी हुई और भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। इस झड़प में दोनों ओर के सैनिकों को कुछ चोटें आई हैं। उपसभापति महोदय, मैं इस सदन को यह बताना चाहता हूं कि हमारे किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ। इंडियन मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए और इस घटना के पश्चात एरिया के लोकल कमांडर ने 11 दिसंबर 2022 को अपने चाइनीज काउंटर पार्ट के साथ स्थापित व्यवस्था के तहत एक फ्लैग मीटिंग भी की और इस घटना पर चर्चा की। चीनी पक्ष को इस तरह के एक्शंस के लिए मना किया गया और सीमा पर शांति बनाए रखने के लिए उन्हें कहा गया। इस मुद्दे को चीनी पक्ष के साथ कूटनीतिक स्तर पर भी उठाया गया है। उपसभापति महोदय, मैं इस सदन को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि हमारी सेनाएं हमारी भौमिक अखंडता को सुरक्षित रखने के लिए पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध हैं और इसके खिलाफ किसी भी प्रयास को रोकने के लिए सदैव तत्पर है। मुझे विश्वास है कि यह सदन हमारी सेनाओं की वीरता और साहस को एक स्वर से समर्थन देगा और अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आश्वस्त हूं कि यह संसद बिना किसी संशय के भारत की सेना की क्षमता, शौर्य, पराक्रम और प्रतिबद्धता का भी अभिनंदन करेगी। धन्यवाद।
And well, amid the opposition creating a ruckus over Tawang, Union Home Minister Amit Shah took on the Congress party. Amit Shah went on to question the Congress's hypocrisy on China and reminded the party of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding and how FCRA rules were violated. Also, Amit Shah accused the Congress of trying to stall the parliament to avoid questions on the controversial Chinese funding of the foundation.
5 नंबर का प्रश्न देखकर मैं इनकी चिंता समझ गया। 5 नंबर के प्रश्न है राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन के FCRA रजिस्ट्रेशन को रद्द करने के बारे में। अब उन्हीं के कांग्रेस के ही सदस्य के द्वारा ये प्रश्न पूछा गया और जवाब में बहुत स्पष्ट था। अगर तो मौका देते तो मैं सदन के पटल पर भी बताता कि राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 6-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था। चूंकि FCRA के कानून और उसकी मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप नहीं था, तो नोटिस देकर पूर्णतया कानूनी प्रक्रिया का अनुपालना करते हुए गृह मंत्रालय ने इसका रजिस्ट्रेशन रद्द किया था। फाउंडेशन ने अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन सामाजिक कार्यों के लिए करवाया है और ये जो राशि चीनी दूतावास से मिली, इसका उपयोग भारत चीन संबंधों के विकास पर शोध करने के लिए ये पैसा दिया गया है।
चाइनीज का घुसपैठ हुआ है, उसके बारे में भी हम आज चर्चा करना चाहते थे। इसीलिए हमने सभी अपोजिशन पार्टी के नेताओं ने मिलकर नोटिस भी दिया था, लेकिन वो चर्चा के लिए तैयार नहीं थे। एक स्टेटमेंट वो भी हमारे डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने दिया और जल्दी चले गए। हाँ, ये हमारे सदन की प्रथा रही है, प्रैक्टिस रही है कि जब कोई स्टेटमेंट मिनिस्टर करता है किसी विषय पे, तो उस पर क्लैरिफिकेशन पूछा जाता है और हमको यही कहा गया सदन के नेता ने। और
है कि अब तक चीन के पास कोई भी जैमिंग सिस्टम नहीं है जिससे कि वो S-400 के रडार को या S-400 के फायर कंट्रोल रडार को जैम कर सके। यानी एक बार S-400 लॉक ऑन हुआ, ट्रैक किया, फायर किया, तो शत्रु का नष्ट होना निश्चित है।
आप जो कह रहे हैं कि ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम नहीं है, इसका मतलब सर आप बताइए बंसल साहब, जो वो बात कर रहे हैं कि उसका कोई ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम चाइना के पास नहीं है, इसका मतलब क्या है?
इसका मतलब ये है कि जो ट्रैकिंग का मतलब ये है कि उनका रडार हमारे
जो मिसाइल्स को वो इंटरसेप्ट कर सकता है या नहीं, देख सकता है नहीं, कि एक बार अगर मिसाइल चल दी यहाँ से तो वो दुश्मन का नाश करेगी, ना तो वो बच सकते हैं ना उसका कोई काउंटर कर सकते हैं। इसका मतलब ये है कि वो इतना स्टिल्थ है कि वो रडार की पकड़ में नहीं आते। स्टिल्थ का मतलब ये होता है कि कोई भी जो वेपन है वो रडार की पकड़ में नहीं आए तो उसको स्टिल्थ बोलते हैं, और जो इससे जो मिसाइलें जाती हैं वो स्टिल्थ हैं, ना रडार पकड़ सकता है। जब रडार पकड़ ही नहीं पाएगा तो उसको काउंटर नहीं किया जा सकता। तो जो अगर चाइना का कोई जहाज या कोई उनका दुश्मन का कोई भी चीज़ उसमें आएगी तो वो निश्चित रूप से उसको ढेर कर दिया जाएगा। अब ये भी नहीं है, पहले तो ये होता था कि अगर चाइना का कोई लड़ाकू जहाज हमारी तरफ आता है तो हम उसको खदेड़ते हैं, खदेड़ने की नौबत ही नहीं आएगी, उसको वहीं विध्वंस कर दिया जाएगा, मार के गिरा दिया जाएगा।
तो इस वक्त जैसा हम इस पूरी खबर को कवर कर रहे हैं और एक बड़ी टीम इस वक्त स्टूडियो में है, अगर सबको दिखा सके अमित, क्योंकि हम एक इस पूरी कवरेज को दिखा रहे हैं अपने दर्शकों को और ये भी बता रहे हैं कि कैसे भारतीय सेना ने खदेड़ा है चीनी सेना को। ये इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण है, इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि गलवान के बाद से एक पूरी ऐसी लॉबी रही सर जिसने बार बार सवाल उठाए, एक पूरी ऐसी लॉबी रही जिसने बार बार सेना पर भी सवाल उठाए और ये भी कहते रहे कि देखिए चीन अंदर आ गया, चीन ने जमीन ले ली। चीन प्रोवोक करता है, ये हकीकत है, और चीन पर वापसी किस तरह से एक अग्रेसिव अप्रोच भारत ने अपनाई है सर, ये जरा बताइए हमारे दर्शकों को।
देखिए, ये बहुत दुर्भाग्य वाली बात है कि इस वक्त ऐसे नाजुक मौके पर हम इसको राजनीतिक एंगल से देख रहे हैं। हमारे विपक्ष को समझना चाहिए कि इस वक्त पूरे देश को एक साथ खड़ा होना चाहिए। विपक्ष को, प्रतिपक्ष को इस वक्त कंस्ट्रक्टिव सजेशन लेकर भारत की सरकार से खड़ा होना चाहिए। विपक्ष को चाहिए कि वो अपने सब जगह पर देश में जाकर, गांव में जाकर अपने जो चैनल्स हैं उनको एक्टिवेट करे और बताए कि चीन हमारा कितना बड़ा दुश्मन है। ऐसे टाइम पर विपक्ष को किसी भी तरह से भारत की सरकार को या हमारी फौज को कमजोर करने की कोई भी बात नहीं करनी चाहिए। चीन को चाहिए कि जब वो भारत की तरफ देखे तो उसे नजर आए कि पूरा भारत एक साथ खड़ा है।
एक आवाज में बोलने की जरूरत, और इसका फायदा चीन उठाता है। जब यहाँ की आवाजें उठती है, हमने देखा है कई बार ग्लोबल टाइम्स और किस तरह चीन के अखबार उसको
So we've cut across to these pictures from West Bengal where a CBI convoy was stopped. A CBI convoy was stopped in West Bengal, and more details coming in of how it was attacked. I correct myself there, it was attacked. Pictures on Republic Bharat coming in of the CBI team that was attacked in Rampur Hat, where Lalan Sheikh was found dead and the CBI team was not able to move. The villagers attempted to stop the CBI team in Birbhum, from where Republic Bangla has been reporting live. And these are the first details that are just coming in of how the CBI team was attacked at Rampur Hat, where Lalan Sheikh was found dead. The CBI team was attacked there. The CBI team was also stopped a day after Boktui massacre. Main accused was found hanging. Lalan Sheikh was found dead in Rampur Hat. And the CBI team was unable to move. You will remember details of how Lalan Sheikh was arrested on the 4th of December. And this comes after the suicide of Lalan Sheikh in CBI custody, that the CBI team was attacked. I want to bring in my colleague Mayuk, who's with us on the broadcast. Mayuk, what more can you tell us about this attack on the CBI convoy and how it is linked to what happened to Lalan Sheikh?
Well, the visuals, what you are seeing on screen, on one side you can see that the CBI officers, they are trying to explain to the local villagers that all the people who are right now in custody of CBI are safe. Basically, this entire thing happened, this thing escalated because of the fact that there's one accused named Jahangir Sheikh who has been taken into CBI custody, and the villagers, they suddenly spread rumors that this Jahangir Sheikh may also see the same fate of Lalan Sheikh, and that's why the whole of the villagers come down in front of the CBI office, the CBI camp in Rampur Hat, and this Rampur Hat is in this is the same place where the last evening accused, the main accused in Bhojpuri killing case, died in CBI custody, and pressure mounted on the CBI officers on one hand. On the other hand, Trinamool leaders have raised questions about the role of the central investigative agencies. Right now, what we are seeing are females, women. They have blocked the streets. They have earlier blocked the national highway number 60 in Birbhum. 3 cars of CBI stopped by protesters earlier, and you can see one of the villagers have fallen sick. They're trying to stop the officers who are there in front of the CBI of the camp, and now what we can see is that CRPF is trying to remove the mob from the place. They are removing all the mob that have gathered. The local police, you can see the top cops of state police, they have arrived. They are saying that it's going to be a law and order situation, so they have urged the villagers to let the CBI team and the CRPF, CISF jawans to make way for them to let the cars pass. This is a condition in Birbhum right now where a number of cases involving several corruption cases and killing cases of Bhojpuri, these things are on the way, and the CBI officers, they are also going to the courts, and they are coming back to the CBI camp. So right now what we can see on the visuals is that on one way, the convoy, they have been escorted by local police. The convoy have been escorted by the central forces officers. The jawans, they have been deployed. One truck extra CISF jawans have come to the spot, and this visuals show how heated up the entire village, how heated up the entire district of Birbhum is right now. The last evening, Lalan Sheikh had been in Central Bureau of Investigative custody since agency arrested him on December 4th from Jharkhand, and from there he was hiding there since 21st of March. On Monday, he was found hanging inside the bathroom of CBI campsite washroom after being taken to the incident site in CBI. One of the CBI sources have said, and on the other hand, it has turned into a previous political mudslinging. On one hand, Trinamool leaders are saying it's a serious case, a serious inquiry should be conducted into the death of Lalan Sheikh, and on the other hand, today's incident where we are seeing a lot of commotion, a lot of people have flocked the entire CBI campsite, and they are demanding justice, and they are trying to see that whether the accused, the more of the accused, they get their justice, they get a proper treatment. CBI officers have time and again assured that none of them will be under threat, none of them are in danger, they are in safe hands. The CRPF officers are there, the CISF officers are there. So basically, it's right now what we are seeing, villagers trying to. And on the other hand, I'm getting reports that the postmortem report they have come in a few minutes. We are going to get the postmortem report. The postmortem procedure has started in the Rampur Hat Medical College, that's in Birbhum, the center site of Birbhum, and the postmortem has started in any time now. The postmortem report is going to come. The preliminary report and the comprehensive report we are going to get, and we are going to update on this also. Back to the studio, sorry.
Absolutely, Mayuk, and that is going to be extremely critical given the kind of political statements that have also been made across party lines, where questions to the lines of principal beneficiary behind the mysterious death of Lalan Sheikh is literally what has been said. So the post-mortem report would really help settle answers. But yes, certainly a section that is blaming the CBI and calling it the mysterious death of Lalan Sheikh. He did die in CBI custody, but important to also focus on what is happening, where the CBI convoy was attacked. Who were these people, and has that matter settled now? Has the team been able to move from there? How far did this escalate?
Well, a few minutes back, it escalated much beyond imagination, and we saw how the whole convoy was blocked by villagers. These are mostly villagers from nearby villages, mostly villagers from the village of Lalan Sheikh. And right now, what we are getting in 3 cars of CBI, which were stopped, they have been removed. They have the CBI officers have been evacuated. CRPF and state police officers, they made way for the convoy to move further and to head towards the coast. So right now, the visuals you can see on the screen, our reporter is tracking and trailing the cars of CBI, where you can see the cars of CRPF also and state police convoy. They are also escorting this to the Lampur Hut coast, where the CBI officers are going, the IO, the investigating officers of several other cases, including Lalan Sheikh case. They are going there, and the whole park has been escorted, has been turned into a strict tight the security zone. And right now we are getting information that in a few minutes they are going to enter court, where heavy deployment is also there.
Right. Mayuk, thank you for getting us these details. We'll keep coming back to you for further updates on the story. For the moment, it's time for us to slip into a very short commercial break, but we'll be back on the other side. Also, our focus all through this afternoon and evening on how the forces fought on the border, but the Congress continues to question the army, claiming major gaps in deployment. We'll get you that detailed statement after the short break. Stay with us.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा.
इसलिए ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, सपने आपके, लैमिनेट्स हमारा. अमेजिंग स्पेसेस के लिए कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister MK Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને
कोशिश यही होगी कि एक के बाद एक हम गांव में जाएं, लोगों से भी बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे। लेकिन दीपेश, अभी सबसे बड़ा अपडेट यही है कि भारतीय सेना यहां पर भी गांव में भी चौकसी बढ़ा दी है। मैं आपको कुछ और तस्वीरें भी दिखाने की कोशिश करूंगा। देखिए, जो वो पहाड़ी दिख रही है वो खारदुंगला की पहाड़ी है और यहाँ से LOC बहुत करीब है और LAC की अगर बात करेंगे तो दूसरी तरफ चांगला है जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। गलवान में किस तरह से झड़प हुई थी और झड़प के बाद भारतीय सेना ने चीन की सेना को पीछे हटने को मजबूर कर दिया था, ये हमने देखा है। लेकिन अभी स्टूडियो में हम चर्चा कर रहे थे और जो रक्षा विशेषज्ञ उन्होंने इस बात को बताया है कि चीन को समझाना पड़ेगा और अब समझाने का वक्त आ गया है। लेकिन आसपास के जो गांव हैं वहां पर भी लोगों में ये जज्बा है और मुझे देखिए एक तिरंगा झंडा घर पर दिखाई दे रहा है, तो ये सीमा के पास का गांव है और यहाँ पर तिरंगा झंडा होना यानी भारतीय सेना की मौजूदगी है। भारतीय सेना लगातार इस तरह से एक्शन ले रही है जिससे चीन पीछे होता जा रहा है और जब आगे झुकना पड़ता है। राजनाथ सिंह ने भी बताया है। स्टूडियो, ओवर टू यू।
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
For Bangladesh.
Amid escalating tension at the line of actual control, Chinese troops reportedly behaved like an unprofessional army, quote-unquote, during the standoff in Pangong Lake area in eastern Ladakh sector. Soldiers of China's People's Liberation Army, PLA troops, who reportedly used stones, sticks and clubs with barbed wires during the face-off with the Indian forces. Minor injuries were also caused to few personnel in this clash. Sources suggest that injured soldiers have been shifted to Guwahati, but statement put out on how there have been no casualties. We're sipping into a very short commercial break. On the other side, we get you that full statement by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who said in the Parliament not an inch is given to China and not a single casualty is on the Indian side. Also, while reminding the Congress of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding, Home Minister Amit Shah took on the Congress for its doublespeak on China.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
હું ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land.
ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Raksha Mantri briefs the Parliament on Tawang. He makes it clear not an inch given or a single casualty on the Indian side.
मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Our forces give it back to China's provocation. Raksha Mantri tells the Parliament Indian soldiers forced the Chinese to retreat.
फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय वर्षाल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35,00,000 रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ है।
Home Minister reminds the Congress party of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding. Amit Shah takes on the Congress for the double speak on China. Home Minister also attacks the Congress, saying the party creating ruckus and stalling the Parliament to avoid questions on the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Forces fight on the border, but the Congress continues to question the army, claims major gaps in our deployment.
मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आर्मी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे, लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है, वो बीच-बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है।
Not an inch of soil can be taken, say the residents of Tawang, who stand firmly with our forces. A very good evening. You're with us here at Republic, and we continue to be on top of a story that has dominated headlines, and rightly so. A story that has also, in fact, generated a lot of curiosity, and people now want to know that why is there a pattern in what China is doing? What is the method behind this madness, behind continuous provocations by China? Remember, our forces have retaliated. They have retaliated effectively. You've heard those responses come in earlier from the Raksha Mantri, also from later the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. But before we deep dive into the politics and our live reportage, China provoked India in Tawang. But what really has provoked China? That's a question that I'm sure must be on top of your minds. So India and US, remember, not very long ago, conducted joint military drills. This was in Uttarakhand's Oli. Republic was reporting live from Oli. In fact, we brought you a lot of these reports from the side of the military drills. These drills, ladies and gentlemen, that were conducted just about 100 kilometers away from the China border. Is this drill that has got China spooked? And is this the reason why China really panicked? Before we take this story ahead, let's quickly play out more excerpts and reportage from that exercise that was called Yuddh Abhyas and what possibly could have got China in a panic.
As the Indo-US joint exercise Yuddh Abhyas continues to take place in Oli of Uttarakhand, Republic TV is at the ground zero, and as we are speaking, there is another exercise which is being conducted here by the forces of both the nation, and that's the rock craft mountain climbing exercise. Remember that Indian forces are very much equipped and they are very much trained in guarding mountains from Siachen to Ladakh to Kashmir, and also from Uttarakhand to Himachal, and also in northeast from Arunachal to Sikkim. So here there's a training which is being given to US armed forces by the Indian armed forces about the exercises, about the operations in mountain areas. You can see how the US Army personnel is now climbing the mountain using these ropes. In fact, it is a training point where there are some principles also. Those are mentioned, and these principles say that 3-point contact, balanced rhythm should be there, adjust, then push, stand upright, conserve energy, use intermediate hold. So these are the principles of rock climbing, and you can see how there is an Indian armed force personnel who is helping the US armed force personnel to learn this this skill, and that's the basic training which is now being given. In fact, it is a joint exercise which is going on between the troops of both the nations. That's the 45 feet, 22 feet rock which is on your right hand side, and that's the 45 feet rock which is on your left side. If Vivek can pan his camera, you can see that there are troops who are taking training on other rocks also. So it is a very difficult terrain for the US personnel, for the US soldiers, because while speaking to us, many of them have told us that they have never got training on such high altitude areas, and this area Oli is an high altitude area, and they are learning the skills of warfare in higher altitude areas. Oli is at least 10,000 feet above the sea level, and here the troops are exercising the mountain climbing. There are some principles which they are following. So after unarmed combat, now rock climbing. Before that, we also saw the display of weapons. So multiple drills have been showcased by the soldiers of both the nations. This is the 18th edition of Indo-US Joint Exercise Yuddhabhyas. It has been going on since 2004. Last time it took place in Alaska, where the temperature is always in -degree, and here in Oli also the climatic conditions are quite challenging, and here also we are seeing how the troops are taking training, and this is basically about the mountain climbing. Between Indian and US forces is underway in Oli of Uttarakhand. There's a drill which they are right now showcasing, and that's the search and rescue operation drill. What we can explain to you is that the name of this drill is search and rescue operation. Through this drill, the armed forces, Indian armed forces, are trying to showcase as to how they clear the hostile situation, how they neutralize a hostile situation, and you see how they have made some dummy huts here, showcasing that this area is a village area. They are making announcements. They are also telling us as to how they go inside a village, they neutralize a hostile, and before that multiple drills are there which they follow. So the Indian armed forces and also US armed forces are doing joint exercise right now. Through this drill, the Indian soldiers are also trying to get in touch with the villagers there first, and they are also showcasing as to how they follow the multiple steps before doing the search and rescue operation in a village whenever there is a hostile situation. So announcements were made, and after that now villagers have now been asked to vacate this entire village through this drill. This is what they are trying to explain. You can see how there are multiple dummy houses. Those have also been established here, and this is the 18th edition of Indo-US Joint Exercise which is underway in Oli of Uttarakhand. The main motive of this exercise is to exchange the best practices, procedures, techniques, tactics, and the main solo motive of this is also peacekeeping and disaster relief operations, and this is basically happening under the UN mandate. We are showing you the live pictures as to how the US Army personnel are also can be seen taking part in this Indo-US Joint Exercise which is right now underway, and that's the another drill which is being showcased here by the armed forces of both the nations. Last time it took place in 2021 in Alaska, and after that it is taking place here in India in Oli. If you talk about the next edition, that it is expected to take place in US, and the pictures which we are right now showing is the search and rescue operation drill. A demonstration is being showcased here by the armed forces of India and US, where they are trying to tell us, they're trying to explain how they do search and rescue operation, and there are multiple steps which they follow. If you try to understand the picture, somewhere tells us as to how they have now vacated the entire village. Through this demonstration, they are telling us that whenever there's a hostile situation, they vacate the village, and then after that, they make announcements for the hostile also to come out or to surrender. And if this does not happen, then then they barge into the village, they enter into the village, and this is what is happening through this demonstration. They are showing us to how to neutralize a hostile situation. Multiple steps are followed, and now the troops have entered into this village. Through this demonstration, they're explaining that after entering in a village area, they try to enter inside a house, and if Vivek can zoom in, they are trying to tell us as to how through this demonstration we can understand how the troops are following steps to neutralize the hostile situation, and how they are now entering inside a dummy house, and what procedures they follow whenever there is any kind of hostile situation. So that's the joint exercise which is right now underway in all of Uttarakhand. The main motive is to exchange the best practices and techniques through this entire drill. See how a hostile is now being neutralized here, how a terrorist is being neutralized here, how an element is neutralized. This is the drill which is now being showcased, and now an element has now been neutralized here through this step where the troops are now deployed outside the house, and the hostile has now been neutralized. You see, on the other side, there are some terrorist elements who continue to, who are now raising.
जहां पे 1962 18 नवंबर मेजर शैतान सिंह और 122 हमारे फौजियों ने, सैनिकों ने 3000 चीनी सैनिकों का सामना करा था, और एक रात में 1300 चीनी मारे थे। आपके कहीं पीछे 1300 चीनियों का जो कब्रिस्तान है ना, वो वहीं पे आसपास। कई बॉडीज तो वापस ले गए चीन, कई वहीं पे दबी पड़ी होंगी, अभी उनकी हड्डियां वहीं पे होंगी। तो यहां पे जो आया है उसको यही जवाब मिला, फिर वो जिंदा वापस नहीं जा पाता। आप लद्दाख में खड़े हैं और यहाँ पे बार-बार यही इतिहास
होता है। आपको देखिए पीछे एक हेलीकॉप्टर नजर आ रहा होगा। सर आप देख पा रहे हैं, ये जिस जगह का आप जिक्र कर रहे हैं, वाकई ये जगह हमेशा से भारतीय सेना किस तरह से यहाँ पर चौकसी बरतती रही है। और अभी आपको सीधी तस्वीर इस समय हम दिखा रहे हैं, सीधी तस्वीर रिपब्लिक भारत पर आपको दिखा रहे हैं। मेजर गौरव आर्य, आप बेहतर जानते हैं कि कितना मुश्किल होता है यहाँ पर गश्त करना, लेकिन जमीन पर और आसमान में भारत की अचूक नजर है। और चाहे चीन कितनी ही चालबाजियां कर ले, लेकिन यही वो जज्बा है जो कम होना नहीं है और ना होगा। और इसलिए कह रहे हैं कि चीन इस तस्वीर को देखे और समझ ले कि भारतीय सेना के जवान, परिस्थितियां कैसी भी हों, आपके लिए ही वो परिस्थितियां आसान होंगी। चीन के लिए सर बहुत आसान होती है, लेकिन भारत के लिए बहुत कठिन होती है। उसके बावजूद हम ऐसी तस्वीर लगातार देखते हैं कि जमीन और आसमान पर दोनों तरफ से गश्ती जारी है। सर अपनी बात कंटिन्यू करें आप।
जी, तो मैं आपसे ये कह रहा था मृदुल कि आप लद्दाख में जहां पे हैं, वो आज से नहीं, 1962 से पहले एक जगह थी हॉट स्प्रिंग्स, उसकी भी एक बड़ी कहानी है। एक जगह थी रिजांगला, उसकी भी बड़ी कहानी है। अरुणाचल में एक जगह थी वलोंग, आज भी है, उसकी भी बहुत बड़ी कहानी है। तो ऐसी बात नहीं है जो चीन कहता है कि हम आंखें दिखा देंगे। जब उसने आंखें दिखाई, उसकी आंखें निकाल दी गई हैं, और यही हमारा इतिहास है। मैं इसलिए आपको बार बार ये चीज कह रहा हूं मृदुल, क्योंकि आपसे ज्यादा दूर नहीं है रिजांगला, आपसे ज्यादा दूर नहीं है रिजांगला। रिजांगला वो जगह जब दौलत बेग ओल्डी गिर गया था, जब दमचौक गिर गया था, एक के बाद एक भारतीय सेना की पोस्ट बिल्कुल चीनी सेना खदेड़ के आगे बढ़ रही थी। वहां पे उस वक्त मेजर शैतान सिंह भाटी और 122 वीर जवानों ने, वीर अहीरों ने वहां पे चीनी फौज के दांत तोड़ दिए। दांत खट्टे करना तो छोटी बात है, उन्होंने दांत तोड़ दिए थे चीनी फौज के। और जैसा मैंने आपको बताया, 1300 लाशें गिराई थी एक रात में। चाइनीज भूले नहीं है, क्योंकि 24 घंटे के बाद चाइना ने सीज फायर कर दिया था। मैं वही बात आज भी कहता हूं लोगों को,
बिल्कुल
आपको दोबारा एक रिजांगला चाहिए श्वेता, आपको एक और रिजांगला चाहिए कि इनके होश ठिकाने आ जाएं चीनियों के।
और मेजर गौरव आर्य, गलवान के बाद प्रधानमंत्री जब गलवान गए तो उन्होंने साफ तौर पे ये कहा भी था कि ये नया भारत है जो आंख झुका कर नहीं, आंख में आंख डाल करके बात करता है और जवाब देता है। और इस वक्त कुछ और जानकारी मिल रही है, मेरे सहयोगी शिखा का मैं रुख करूंगी। शिखा, ओवर टू यू।
बिल्कुल श्वेता, देखिए चीन से तवांग में जो झड़प हुई है उसको लेकर अब संसद में विपक्ष ने देखिए जोरदार हंगामा किया, और किस तरीके से रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह ने वहां पर लोकसभा में अपना बयान दिया। उन्होंने कहा कि भारतीय सेना ने डटकर मुकाबला किया है और आगे के लिए भी हम पूरी तरीके से तैयार हैं। वहीं गृह मंत्री अमित शाह ने भी कहा कि 1 इंच जमीन भी हम चीन को नहीं देंगे। एक रिपोर्ट इसी पर पहले आपको दिखाते हैं।
चाइना
हमने जो तस्वीरें दिखाई हैं वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण तस्वीरें हैं, क्योंकि हर जगह पर देख रहे हैं, हमारे रिपब्लिक भारत के दर्शकों को बता दें कि किस तरह से आप देख रहे हैं यहीं पर लगातार क्लैशेस चल रहे थे। और रेजांगला का जिक्र अभी मेजर गौरव आर्या ने भी किया, लेकिन अभी हमने देखा कि जो नीचे जमीन पर गश्त की जा रही है, साथ ही साथ आसमान में भी वो हेलीकॉप्टर उड़ता हुआ हमने दिखाया है। और सुबह से हम देख रहे हैं कि यहां पर लगातार गश्त की जा रही है। तो आपको ये बता दें कि भारतीय सेना के जवान कैसी भी परिस्थिति हो, कैसी भी स्थिति हो, इस विषम परिस्थिति में, इस डिफिकल्ट टाइम में भी आपकी सुरक्षा के लिए तैनात है और जमीन से लेकर आसमान तक ऐसी ही गश्त की जा रही है। मैं फिर से अपने दर्शकों को बता दूं कि पहले हम खारदुंगला मौजूद थे, उसके बाद हमने सफर तय किया 40 किलोमीटर का। कई गांव में हम आए हैं।
Let's break another reaction that's just coming in. The first reaction, in fact, from the Chief Minister of Arunachal. You will see that tweet on your screens in just a moment, where he again, remember, reiterates the stand that also has been taken by the government. He says, and I quote him now, Yangtze is under my assembly constituency, and he says, every year I meet the Jawans and villagers of the area. He reiterates, it is not 1962 anymore. If anyone tries to transgress, our brave soldiers will give a befitting reply. That is the first response coming in from Pema Khandu, the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. Much in sync, remember, with the response that is coming in from India today. That is the Indian government also. You've heard Rajnath Singh, you've heard the Home Minister, everyone reiterating that not an inch of our Indian soil has been ceded, and China must never dream of even doing that as long as you have this government in power. The story, remember, ladies and gentlemen, moving very, very fast. There are a lot of layers to that entire story. Let's quickly introduce our panel of guests. Lieutenant General Rameshwar Roy, who's a former Chief of Staff of the Southern Command and the former DG, if Assam Rifles, is joining us on the broadcast from Hyderabad. Colonel S. Dinny is a defense expert live from Kollam on the broadcast, and Lieutenant General K.J. Singh Saab is the former GOC in Chief of the Western Command, joining us on our broadcast from Delhi. Good evening to all of you, gentlemen, and it's important, I think, to hear from all of you, because through the day today, we've seen a good amount of politics that's played out. Politicians can have their own time, but I think it's important to deep dive into this subject, because this is very, very serious, as all of you gentlemen will agree. So let me take the first question with Lieutenant General Rameshwar Roy, sir. How do you look into what has happened so far? China wanting now to underplay the entire story. China wanting to now say that everything is fine, everything is under control. India standing firm with our soldiers. India reiterating that not an inch of soil has been given and can never be given. How do you read into, sir, whatever we've seen on the entire story?
See, in many ways, Tawang was waiting to happen ever since China intervened in South Ladakh in 2020. And in some ways, it also gave us a good warning that after its action in Ladakh, we well knew that it is going to create similar situations elsewhere also. And Tawang was on its radar. And because of that only, Indian Army has been well prepared because it was prepared for it. And now that it has tried a similar stunt in this sector, it has got a bloody nose. All I would say is that until such time the issue of this different perception of the LAC is resolved at the highest level, that is to say that we perceive our line of actual control as more towards the east and China perceives it more towards the west. And this process of differing perceptions, until such time this is resolved, I would say that these kind of border standoffs have been happening in the past and will continue to happen in future also. All I would say is that we must now up the ante in terms of what China is doing very smartly as of now is that it is trying to gain the grounds, but it just stops short of getting into a kinetic action with the Indian Army. I would feel very strongly as of now that we need to push China into an active kinetic front so that we are able to give them much more than, and we are able to raise the cost for these kind of border standoffs. And that is one of the means, until such time it comes on the table, to resolve the differing perceptions of the LAC into a properly formal laid out border between these two nations. Because if we look at the history, it has around 22,000 kilometers of border with the 14 countries. And it has been able to resolve the border with 12 of those countries and left out only India and Bhutan, basically for using this as a leverage for all times to come. And this is a time that we need to move forward more aggressively to make sure that this leverage of China is sort of gotten over for all times to come.
I think, Lieutenant General Saab, you raise a lot of important points, and I want to push that forward with Lieutenant General KJ Singh Saab, and then I'll come to Colonel Dinny and ask Colonel Dinny about what are the costs that, perhaps can be escalated from New Delhi to Beijing. Many people say that economically, perhaps India needs to cut ties or perhaps show China its real place. China that already is squeezed right now, not just internally, but also externally. But Lieutenant General KJ Singh Saab, is China even interested in solving this border dispute?
Firstly, thank you, Jai Hind. It's a day when entire country must show our solidarity to our armed forces. And I was a little appalled that in Parliament we are playing out this kind of a drama. The best thing is to pass a short resolution, show support, and sit down separately and discuss it out. They can be briefed separately. And later, when the issue is resolved and we have passed this problem, then we can have detailed discussions, analysis, and correctives. If they have to be applied, they should be applied. Now, China is really not interested in solving this problem. This Yangtze thing has been happening year after year. If not every year, then at least every second year. I have been in 33 Corps. It was my neighboring corps. I used to go there. I used to see this. And this is directly, it's about 50 kilometers east of Tawang. And Tawang is the second most important seat of Tibetan religion. So China has staked a claim on this place. And thanks in 50s to Captain Robert Bob Kathing, who went and planted our flag in Tawang. Otherwise, Tawang would not have been with us. So, in my perception, China is not in a hurry to solve this problem. They always solve the problem on their terms or when they get a message that the other side is strong enough. It will take time. For China, time is not in minutes, hours, or days, or even in decades. It can even be in centuries. We'll have to show patience. We have to build our capabilities. There is no shortcut. And we have to stand firm. And this, I must tell you that 62 is over. In 67 at Nathula and Chola, we showed it to Chinese. We did it at Somdrungchu in 86. We did it in Doklam in 2017. And Kailash was another example. So we should build our quid pro quo capabilities, build our infrastructure. This Sagarmala, this Parvatmala project which is going on, build the capabilities, infrastructure in border areas, in mountains, and then only Chinese will get a message that you can't push India. But till then, we'll have to suffer a neighbor like China. We have no choice. That's why I keep saying, and also somewhere I say that let's not also hype it up beyond a point, because Chinese are quite inclined when they see the resoluteness on ground, they withdraw. Then they don't push the point for another year or so.
That's true.
So to me, it appears that after flag meeting, the issues locally have got resolved. They were not minor. They were serious in a way, bigger than what used to happen every year, because we are told that in lots, not in one go, that much strength can't come, but beyond 200 odd people came. It's difficult, but they must have gathered them. And also the use of barbaric weapons has taken place. So these, and in winters, it's now, we are into December and mid-December, and still China is having ambitions to carry out operations over here. So all these three are ominous signs for us. We have to take note of it. But let me assure through your viewers, Indian Army is up to all kinds of challenges. We are organized well, we are deployed well.
Yes.
And I know for sure that in close vicinity, we have artillery deployment. I've seen it myself. So we are not short of capabilities. And this, we are sitting on heights. We are on 17,000 feet. So China keeps trying. And this time also they tried.
Yes.
But it's good. My compliments to local commanders. It's time for us Indians to stand behind with the army. And let's wait for time after a couple of weeks, sit down coolly, analyze everything. But for the current, just stand with your army. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you actually, Singh Saab, make a lot of good points, and only for want of time, but before I head into a break, I quickly want to take a comment with Colonel S. Dinny. Colonel Saab, see, this statement that has come in from the Raksha Mantri, it's very indicative of what the real situation is. This indicates that this transgression was actually aimed at physically changing the lay of the LAC in Tawang. The reason why he says unilateral attempt to change status quo. So this clearly is a plan. There is an escalation, and this is not an ordinary skirmish or a face-off.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think the statement which the Raksha Mantri made in the Parliament today brings out the correct picture and in the correct intensity in which this has to be seen. Like what General KJ was mentioning, that we should not hype it up to that level, in which there is a frenzy which is there among the public, and then that adds on to the pressure to the government, and we are forced to take any wrong action. But here, I think it is very clearly brought out that there was an attempt to unilaterally change the status quo here in this disputed area, and we know that there are multiple disputed areas all along the line of actual control. And second part is, like as always, Indian Army at the tactical level, at the local army level, they dealt it with in the most professional manner. And when I say most professional manner, they gave them a bloody nose, and then they immediately called for a flag meeting, and then the troops were disengaged, or rather there was no physical contact between the troops. So that is the way the professional armies deal with each other whenever there is a dispute. So I think overall, yes, it is not a normal face-off. But I don't think this is in the same way as like what happened in Galwan. That kind of thing it does not happen, and this kind of incidents will continue to happen. It will continue to happen because the areas are there in which there is differing of perceptions. Both do not agree on a particular line on ground, either on map or between the two. So this differences will continue, and more so like what General KJ was mentioning, there is massive infrastructure development going on along the Indian side. We always talk about the Chinese side. We must understand that for a very long time, we did not have any kind of infrastructure development. And then you have sudden or rather gradual improvement into the infrastructure development, which brings the quantum of troops which can be easily, they can react to any situation. And when the troops are physically there, that means the chances of conflict or, giving a resistance increases. And therefore, thereby, these kind of clashes will happen. So I think overall, what needs to be done is that we should continue the same policy of a very resolute ground position along with capability development, both military and economically too.
All right, Colonel Saab, as always, it's so enriching to hear all of you gentlemen, because there's so much that we get to learn. So what we'll do is I'm just requesting all of you gentlemen to stay with us as we quickly head into a break. But on the other side, we are putting our spotlight back on what's happening in Tawang. Remember, Republic is reporting very close to that site right now where you saw this skirmish. We'll also take you across to the Parliament where we've seen fireworks, and we'll come back to our gentlemen here on the panel who will also tell us what must India do next. Do not go anywhere.
From Tezpur to Tawang and the developments happening in Delhi, Republic TV is bringing you each and every exclusive input on the Tawang face-off. Stay tuned for more updates.
कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा।
इसलिए ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, सपने आपके, लैमिनेट्स हमारा। अमेजिंग स्पेसेस के लिए कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा।
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया. अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Raksha Mantri briefs the Parliament on Tawang. He makes it clear not an inch given, not a single casualty on the Indian side.
मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए. अध्यक्ष महोदय,
The Raksha Mantri also there speaking in the Parliament, and he says not an inch has been given, and he tells the Parliament that Indian soldiers forced the Chinese to retreat.
राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था.
Amit Shah reminds the Congress of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding. He takes on the Congress for their doublespeak on China. Home Minister attacks the Congress. He says the party is creating ruckus and stalling the Parliament to avoid questions on the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Forces fight on the border, but the Congress continues to question our army, claiming major gaps in deployment.
मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आर्मी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे, लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है वो बीच-बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है.
Not an inch of soil can be taken, say the residents of Tawang, who stand firmly with our Indian forces. A very good evening and thank you for staying with us here on Republic. We continue to keep you on top of a story that has dominated headlines all through last evening. Remember what happened in Tawang, the bloody nose that China has got, but unfortunately there's a lot of political bickering that still continues from the opposition. But we've also been speaking to a lot of defense experts who say that India right now needs to up the ante. So we will touch all those issues. Remember, Republic also has the biggest reporting team on ground zero. In fact, our colleague Anirudh is reporting live from Tejpur right now, and Mridul is reporting live from Leh. We'll see both of them on our screens. There they are. Anirudh, to you first. You're at Tejpur. Earlier, you got us this report from a lot of these local citizens who continue to say that no matter what, this is an issue about us, this is an issue about the Indian government, about our security, and they actually underscore that this is not a time to play politics.
Yes, in fact, Deputy Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, Pema Khandu, has also made it very clear in his recent tweet that Yangtze, the area where this skirmish has happened, where this face-off has happened, falls in his constituency, in his legislative assembly constituency, and that the Indian government will not allow an inch of Indian soil to be taken over. Also, we have spoken in the morning to local people out there, and we are constantly in touch with the local people who live near by the border areas in Yangtze, or you can say Sumigyase, which is the last inhabited village. If we go from this side, then there also all the villagers are very much determined, they are very much committed in giving a befitting reply to the Chinese PLA. And also we have seen how the villagers, the local villagers from Sumigyase has confirmed that there have been more casualty on the Chinese side as far as this recent face-off is concerned along the LAC in Yangtze, in the Tawang sector. Meanwhile, I would also like to highlight that the developments that has been taking place along the border has been being closely monitored by the government of India, by the defense minister, and a series of meetings has also taken place in this regard. Deepti.
All right, Anirudh, why don't you stay with us? And I'll also request Mridul to please be with us. He remembers reporting from Leh. But in the middle, I also want to get in Mr. Ninong Ering, who's a member of Parliament of the Congress Party, and he's representing Arunachal Pradesh. If we can also have him up on our screens. And okay, I think we'll just go to Mridul quickly, and then we'll go into our guest. Mridul, you've been getting us a lot of ground reportage that's coming in from Leh, and every reportage is talking of the fact of how prepared we are. The very fact today that you have our forces, whether it's the LAC, whether it's the LOC, who continue to guard in spite of some very, very difficult conditions. And you have netas back here, Mridul, who want to politicize this.
Absolutely, Deepti. As we saw so many pictures, we saw helicopters and we saw convoy of army. The army is on alert. Or if you talk about LAC or LOC, in the morning we get there at that same point where the convoy of army moving here and there. Basically, the fact of the matter is Indian army is on alert. And Rajnath Singh mentioned in his statement that Indian army is on alert. India is not given an inch. So this is the most important thing that India should. Indian army is on alert, and I just want to say something about this. This is the ये जो आप तस्वीर देख रहे हैं दीप्ति, मैं हिंदी में दर्शकों को बताना चाहूँगा, यहाँ पर रेजांग ला में जब घटना घटी थी इंडिया और चाइना की, उस वक्त आपको याद होगा चाइना के बहुत सारे सैनिक आए थे, हजारों की संख्या में सैनिक आए थे, लेकिन हमने उन्हें पीछे धकेलने का काम किया था। और वो दशक याद होगा चाइना की आर्मी को, इसलिए आज हम कह रहे हैं कि भारतीय ताकत जो है वो जमीन पर नजर आ रही है, भारतीय आर्मी के जवान जो हैं वो अलर्ट पर नजर आ रहे हैं। और इसलिए भारतीय सेना भी ये बताने की कोशिश कर रही है, जिस रिपोर्ट का आपने जिक्र किया है दीप्ति, मैं बार बार कह रहा हूं, सुबह से यहां पर हम देख रहे हैं आसमान से लेकर जमीन तक अलर्ट इतना है कि भारतीय सेना ने बता दिया है कि परिस्थितियां कोई भी हो। हम गांव तक भी पहुंचे, अलग अलग गांव में भी दीप्ति हम गए हैं, देखिए आप यहां पर पूरा सन्नाटा है, कोई नहीं है। लेकिन ये आप समझिए कि ठंड होने के बावजूद, माइनस में टेम्परेचर होने के बावजूद भारतीय सेना के जो जवान हैं वो चोटी पर डटे हुए हैं। और हम सुबह उस चोटी पर मौजूद थे, वहां से धीरे धीरे हम गांव की तरफ आए हैं, लोगों से भी हमने बात करने की कोशिश की है, उनका भी यही कहना है कि हां भारतीय सेना यहां पर मौजूद है और उनकी मौजूदगी ये बताने के लिए काफी है कि भारतीय सेना लगातार डटी रहेगी और चीन को बार बार पीछे हटने के लिए मजबूर होना पड़ेगा।
मृदुल, आप क्योंकि इस समय ले पर है ना, बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि नेता किसी भी तरह का कमेंट कर सकते हैं और उसके बाद सब कुछ सामान्य हो जाता है। लेकिन हमें अपने व्यूअर्स को भी ये बताना चाहिए कि स्पेशली तवांग, जहां पर ये पूरी अब घटना हुई है, अब 8 और 9 तारीख के बीच की जो इंटरवीनिंग नाइट थी, वहां किस तरह के टेम्परेचर्स होते हैं, मतलब सब जीरो भी नहीं मृदुल, ये उससे भी नीचे की बात हो रही है। और देखना ये भी होगा कि ऐसे समय में जब शायद पीएलए ट्रूप्स को ये लग रहा था कि इंडियन साइड इतना प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं होगा और वहां पर हमें कोई भी इंडियन पेट्रोल पार्टी नहीं मिलेगी, इन स्पाइट ऑफ दिस प्रोवोकेशन, मतलब इतना जबरदस्त प्रोवोकेशन था मृदुल, उसके बावजूद प्रोफेशनल इंडियन आर्मी अपने स्टैंड पर बनी रही और ये इंश्योर किया कि पीएलए को वापस जाना पड़े।
बिल्कुल दीप्ति, मैं देखिए 2-3 चीजें बताना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि इस वक्त जहां हम खड़े हुए हैं वहां पर टेम्परेचर -7 के आसपास है और आप देखिए हमें भी बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है, यहां पर सांस लेने की तकलीफ होती है और जब आप धीरे धीरे ऑल्टीट्यूड पर आगे बढ़ते हैं तो फिर आपको बहुत ज्यादा परेशानी होती है। तो ये उन नेताओं को भी समझना होगा कि भारतीय सेना के जवान आसमान में और जमीन पर डटे हुए हैं, टेम्परेचर कितना ही कम हो जाए वो लगातार डटे रहेंगे। और दूसरी तरफ जब आप पीएलए की बात करती हैं सैनिकों की, बार बार वो कोशिश करते हैं और वो उसी दौरान कोशिश करते हैं जब ठंड बहुत ज्यादा होती है। मैं अभी भी देखिए दीप्ति, मुझे गर्जना सुनाई दे रही है हेलीकॉप्टर की और मुझे लगता है कि आसपास से वो गुजरेगा, वो तस्वीर मैं आपको जरूर दिखाऊंगा। लेकिन बताता हूं मैं आपको, पीएलए के जो जवान है, चाइनीज आर्मी जब भी यहां पर आती है वो वही समय देखती है जब विषम परिस्थितियां होती हैं, बहुत ज्यादा ठंड होती है, वहां से उनको आर्मी का डिप्लॉयमेंट बहुत आसान होता है। चाइना की बात मैं कर रहा हूं, लेकिन भारत के लिए उतना ही कठिन होता है, उतनी कठिन परिस्थितियां यहां पर होती हैं। लेकिन अगर आप देखेंगे भारतीय सेना की तैयारी, तो हम तमांग में भी उसकी तारीफ करते हैं कि भारतीय सेना ने पहले तैयारी की थी। और जैसा हमारे सहयोगी बता रहे थे, पेमा खांडू ने, अरुणाचल प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, उन्होंने भी इस बात का जिक्र किया है कि भारतीय सेना तैयार थी और अभी भी तैयार है, चाहे एलओसी की बात करें या एलएसी की बात करें। और सुबह से जो मैं तस्वीर देख रहा हूं, ये बहुत दावे के साथ मैं कह सकता हूं कि भारतीय सेना की ऐसी तैयारी है कि चीन को फिर से अगर वो वापस घुसने की कोशिश करता है अपनी विस्तारवाद की नीति के तहत, तो उसे सोचना होगा, क्योंकि फिर से उसे इस बार मुंह की खानी पड़ेगी।
और मृदुल, मुझे नहीं लगता कि मतलब इस बारे में कोई शक होना चाहिए कि क्या बीजिंग दोबारा इस तरह की हरकत करेगा या नहीं, क्योंकि जिस तरह कहते हैं ना अंग्रेजी में, ओल्ड हैबिट्स डाई हार्ड। और चाइना को लेकर इस समय बहुत सारे इश्यूज हैं, क्योंकि ना ही सिर्फ इंटरनेशनली वो आइसोलेट हो रहा है, अकेला पड़ रहा है, लेकिन इंटरनली भी इस समय शी जिनपिंग की हालत बहुत अच्छी नहीं है, उनकी इकोनॉमी की बहुत बुरी हालत है। और इस तरह का एक डिस्ट्रैक्शन बीजिंग को तो सूट करता है, लेकिन तमाम वो जो सोर्सेज हैं हमारे सिक्योरिटी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट में मृदुल, जिनसे आपने बातचीत की है, वो क्या बताते हैं कि बाकी पिछले समय में जितने ट्रांसग्रेशन स्कर्मिशेस हुए हैं, उससे ये वाला स्कर्मिश जो तवांग में हुआ वो किस तरह अलग था?
बिल्कुल, देखिए मैं, आपने दीप्ति पहली बात का जिक्र किया, आप देखिए अभी शी जिनपिंग का हफ्ता भर भी नहीं हुआ है, कोविड पॉलिसी को लेकर किस तरह से लोग सड़कों पर आ गए थे और हमने शी जिनपिंग का विरोध कई जगह पर देखा है। हमने लंदन की कई स्ट्रीट्स पर भी अभी हाल ही में विरोध देखा है। तो आप ये समझिए कि चीन में अंदर खाने बीजिंग बहुत परेशान हो चुका है। शी जिनपिंग की सत्ता भले ही तीसरी बार आ चुकी है, लेकिन वो परेशान तो हैं और वो अपनी नीतियों को बदल रहे हैं। तमांग में उन्होंने सोचा था, सोच यही थी कि यहां पर आप गलवान में आए थे, आपने पहले भी कोशिश की है, उन्हें लग रहा था कि भारत इस तरह से रिटेलिएट नहीं करेगा, लेकिन भारतीय सेना की भी तैयारी थी। आप सोचिए कि जब वहां पर हमारी बात हुई है, जो हमारे सूत्र बताते हैं दीप्ति, कि वहां पर चाइनीज आर्मी की एक कोशिश थी कि वो फेंसिंग लेकर आया था और एक कंस्ट्रक्शन की तैयारी थी जो पहले वो करता रहा है, लेकिन अब दशक बदल चुके हैं, अब सरकारें बदल चुकी हैं, अब वक्त बदल चुका है, और वक्त बदला है तो आज की तस्वीर हमने देखी है। और ये संसद में बयान दिया है रक्षा मंत्री ने, जैसा मैंने शुरुआत में बताया था कि उन्होंने कहा 1 इंच जमीन हमने तवांग में नहीं दी है। और आप सोचिए कि सेना की तरफ से बयान आ जाता है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी इस पर राजनीति रुकती नहीं है। सेना ने कल ही दीप्ति साफ कर दिया था कि हां जरूर झड़प हुई है, हमारे जवान घायल भी हुए, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि बहुत गंभीर जवान घायल हो चुके हैं गंभीर रूप से, वहां पर झड़प हुई है, लेकिन हमने पूरी ताकत के साथ उन्हें रिटेलिएट किया है और पीछे धकेल दिया है। चीन जो गलती कर रहा है, उसे लग रहा है कि भारत का ध्यान नहीं था, लेकिन वो बिल्कुल गलत है। भारत की रक्षा पॉलिसी, भारत की रक्षा क्षेत्र में हमने कितना काम किया है वो अब साफ नजर आ रहा है, और जवानों की चौकसी किस तरह से है वो मैं खुद ग्राउंड जीरो पर देख रहा हूं। तो इस बार चीन की गलतियां साफ तौर पर जग जाहिर हो चुकी है और उसे फिर से पीछे हटने के लिए मजबूर होना पड़ेगा।
बिल्कुल मृदुल, गलती नहीं, इसको तो एजेंडा ही कहेंगे, क्योंकि देयर इज अ रियल पैटर्न इनटू व्हाटएवर हैज हैपेंड. But what we'll do, Mridul, is I'll just let you go briefly. Thank you for getting us that entire live coverage from LA. I want to take it across to Niranjan. He also has a lot of satellite imagery right now. That Niranjan is going to take this story forward and tell us more about how prepared the Indian side has been.
Well, Dipti, there are a few images that tell you the story about how China is stunned. And as we speak, the breaking news update now coming in is that China, perhaps for the first time, you will hear China complaining that India crossed the LAC. Can you believe it? China is claiming India crossed the LAC. And I'll tell you why China is spooked and how we stunned them near the LAC. Look at this image. This is a helipad. Dipti, we looked using open source satellite imagery on how India reacted to the Chinese aggression at the LAC. Look at these pictures. I'm going to show you these pictures one by one, Deepthi. The first picture is on your screen. This is the first picture. This is the first picture. That's the base close to Tulungla. And this is the base from where most of the reinforcements were rushed. This is right next to the LAC, a few kilometers from the LAC. And all of these measures have been taken by the army, by our forces after 2020, after Galwan, after whatever's been happening at the LAC, after Demchok. And let me show you the second picture. Look at this. This is the picture of the camp extremely close to the LAC. We have these pictures that show you how our forces, and in fact, using the open source, we try to look along the LAC. And along the LAC, one thing that becomes increasingly clear is that our forces have gone all out to sort of see. This is the post. In fact, I'll just make a small correction there. The post is here. This is the post. And there are several posts, in fact, along the LAC. And this is, once again, this is the helipad. This is the helipad. And there are several posts along the line of actual control. And all of these roads that you see on the sidelines telling you about the build-up. The build-up, in fact, from the helipad to the base, from where most of the reinforcements are rushed, are telling you the story of how when the Chinese tried to provoke at the LAC, immediately reinforcements were called, reinforcements were rushed within minutes. Within minutes, these reinforcements were rushed, and that is why China had to retreat, because they did not expect India's reaction and response time. Not just that, let's show you some more pictures, full screen of how India has gone all out. In fact, today some politicians are trying to sort of give lectures on how the deployment was not good enough near the line of actual control. Some political parties, including in Parliament, there was a motion moved by some Congress leaders, some opposition parties, saying that there's not enough deployment. That's one of the things you're hearing, that there is not enough deployment. Look at your screen right now. That's close to the LAC. There are multiple posts near Tulungla. Not one, not two, several posts, including a helipad and a base camp as well. And that is why India responded, because we were alert. We responded, and we called for reinforcements, and the reinforcements were rushed in time. And that response time has completely stunned the Chinese into a point where the Chinese are today claiming that India crossed over to the LAC and that's why they were provoked. Can you believe it? All these years, and the same opposition parties claim that China invaded, China sitting on our territory. But the truth is, it is the Chinese that are on the back foot. There are more images. I want to play out all those images one after the other on your screen right now. Look at these images. Right? Multiple posts, Dipti, not one or two, multiple posts near Tulungla. One, that's two. And this is extremely, and the two posts and the helipad and the camp and the road construction, the most important aspect is how the army has been consolidating its infrastructure along the line of actual control. Look at that. I mean, the road construction is something that is so stark. Even when you look at the maps, the open source satellite images, we've bolstered, and the entire approach has changed, and most experts will tell you that this is the approach that has sort of caught China completely on the back foot. They didn't expect the response time. They didn't expect us to respond. They came armed with barbed wire clubs. They came armed with sticks, and they called for reinforcements. And when it was a face-to-face, hand-to-hand sort of a brawl situation, the number of Indian Army soldiers who turned up there and the response time was one of the reasons why we pushed them back, and not 1 inch was ceded. And if you look at the Chinese response that's now coming in, China's complaining that India crossed over to the LAC, and that's the kind of response that you're seeing. They're completely on the back foot. The Defense Minister Rajnath Singh today, the first sentence that he started off his statement in Parliament today was, he said there was an attempt to change the status quo, and that is something that is coming across in the response of the Chinese, extremely on the back foot, sounding extremely nervous. The first response that came in is that the situation is stable. They're looking at the kind of reporting that's happening in India as we put out more facts, and they're on the back foot saying that India provoked and India crossed over the LAC. Deepti, back to you for now. These are some of the images that we had. Wanted to show you those images from open source satellite imagery that we've sort of pulled out. This is the location where the Chinese troops tried to enter and try to gain control of the 17,000-foot peak close to Tulungla base. Back to you for now.
Yes, I think it's a very important detail that Niranjan, you've got for our viewers, and we can only hope that the opposition actually is watching Republic right now and they understand that this isn't just a bickering political sum game. When it comes to India, you have to fight together as a country.
I don't think one of the biggest points that is coming through. I'm going through these images one by one, Deepti. Look at this. This is the helipad. This is the camp, very close to the helipad. This is a camp close to Tulungla. The first image, the camp is extremely close. In fact, in single-digit distance from the LAC, which means the moment the Chinese came in contact with the LAC, after the contact was made, after we tried to stop them, immediately from this camp, reinforcements were rushed. And that graphic is on your screen. This is the satellite imagery. Republic has accessed open source satellite imagery. This one shows that the base camp was extremely close, which is point number one. We reacted immediately. We immediately rushed reinforcements. That's point number one. That's the big one. And secondly, look at the helipad, right? You look at the helipad, Dipti. Let me show you the helipad. These are the posts, by the way, on my screen. These are the posts on the screen right now. I'll show you the helipad, but there are multiple posts. There is a camp, there is a helipad, and there's infrastructure build up in that area where this reported face-off took place. So I'm repeating once again. The Congress party and some of these parties have been going on and on claiming that there was not adequate deployment on the ground. But in reality, when you look at the open source imagery, that completely tells you a different story. Not just the roads. Look at the roads, posts, and there's a helipad as well. On your screen, I'll show you the graphic of that helipad. The graphic of that helipad, which is very, very clear. Look at that. That's the helipad. That's increased deployment with multiple roads and connectivity to the helipad near the LAC. I repeat, there's connectivity to the helipad extremely close to the LAC. And this is open satellite imagery that's available, from close to Tulungla. That is close to the area where China tried to gain access to the 17,000-foot peak. Deepti. Not just that, let's show you the other pictures, right? And And that's, yeah, here it is, look at this. This is the helipad and the road connectivity, right? And all of this is going alongside the line of actual control. And it is extremely clear that the approach of the forces has changed completely after Galwan, completely. And we've been looking at pictures. In fact, Republic also reported from Tawang a few months back when we told you that anti-aircraft guns and increased infrastructure buildup was all part of the army's game plan, and that has been put into action. In fact, all of what I'm showing you from our sources, we picked up that the approach has changed. The road construction, for example, look at the road construction, right? All of these, you're looking at these markings, right, Deepthi? These markings are nothing but roads. These are roads as seen from a satellite image. These are roads, Deepthi. Look at this. These are all roads from the helipad to Tawang, to mainland Tawang, to the different posts, to the corners of the LAC, because of which we were able to respond in record time. And that is why the Chinese are really stumped. I don't think they expected that response time, and that's what we're picking up from our reporters and from all the sources we are in touch with. And there are multiple posts. Once again, look at this. This is one picture that gives you the full story. In one picture, you can see the map. That's a helipad. That's a post. There's a second post, and then here there is a camp. All of this in one picture, and look at the road connectivity, Deepthi. Look at the road connectivity, and all of this is infrastructure that we've been building up. And then you have people telling you, and people write letters and say there is no adequate deployment at the line of actual control. Deepthi, I want to tell you that we've done some research, and this is open source. I mean, anybody with just adequate knowledge of how to do research using satellite imagery will tell you that this is available on the internet. And if you look at it along the line of control, we have it covered. Our forces have it covered. And I'm tossing it back to you for now, Deepthi, but just wanted to show you these pictures that we've been able to access. And I think you can take this forward with our team, and including experts like Major Gaurav Arya in the studio. Back to you for now.
Yes, Niranjan, thank you. I think it's very, very important to put that story into perspective, and that's exactly where this satellite imagery that Niranjan has brought forward, remember viewers, really helps, because the Indian officials have said that China's People Liberation Army could have attempted actually to seize the Yangtze post in the hopes that the Indian Army presence there in the area would be thin, particularly at this time when the area, remember, is snowbound. And this is a fact that till about 2015, you had the Indian Army that would patrol this area. But in the last few years, we've started staying on at the post even in the harshest of winters. And the Chinese did not expect such numbers on the Indian side. Exactly what is ratified by these images that you see on your screens. We are quickly heading into a break right now. But when we come back, this continues to be our top focus story. Don't go anywhere.
Civilians have been reported killed, 17 injured as Afghan border forces opened fire in Balochistan with a mortar rocket. The Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific after accomplishing a historic moon mission. It was a more than 25-day journey around the moon with an eye to returning humans there in just a few years.
4 Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested from Kanpur. This is from the Mulganj area. Fake Aadhaar cards as well as passports have been recovered from these 4.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister MK Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ભૂપેન્દ્ર રજનીકાંત પટેલ ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું કે કાયદાથી સ્થાપિત ભારતના સંવિધાન પ્રત્યે હું સાચી શ્રદ્ધા અને નિષ્ઠા ધરાવીશ.
Got some reliable intelligence inputs from across that there has been a dropping of 2 to 4 RPG launches via drone has taken place somewhere in the Taran. Kashmiri Pandit community is on the roads in Jammu. They are staging protests for the past 215 days, and what they are saying that don't rehabilitate us to Kashmir on the cost of our blood.
Delhi airport, where the chaos and pandemonium continues. Many passengers have been waiting for long hours at the Delhi airport.
Threat has been issued by the terror outfit called Kashmir Tigers. In the video, one of the terrorists saying that whosoever buys land in the Kashmir Valley.
The VVIP treatment that is being given to Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's wife while she visited this temple and was seen walking away with this, using this umbrella that is used for the deity in this temple.
ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया. अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh briefs the Parliament on Tawang, makes it clear not an inch given, not a single casualty on the Indian side.
मिलिट्री कमांडर्स के टाइमली इंटरवेंशन के कारण पीएलए सोल्जर्स अपनी लोकेशंस पर वापस चले गए. अध्यक्ष महोदय,
Our forces gave it back to China's provocation. Defence Minister tells Parliament Indian soldiers forced Chinese to retreat.
गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ है.
Reminds Congress of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's funding. Amit Shah takes on Congress for its doublespeak on China. Home Minister Amit Shah attacks Congress, says party creating ruckus in stalling Parliament to avoid RGF question. Forces fight on border, but Congress continues to question the army, claims major gaps in deployment.
मेरे को नहीं लगता है कि अभी इंडियन और चाइना वाला कुछ हमारा इंडियन आर्मी को कुछ हमारा ज़मीन का 1 इंच भी वहाँ पे ले जा सकेंगे. लेकिन चाइनीज़ वाला क्या है, वो बीच बीच में कुछ हरकत करते रहता है.
Not an inch of soil can be taken, say the residents of Tawang, who stand firmly by the Indian forces. Very good afternoon and thank you for tuning in. You're watching the news at 5 p.m. I'm Soesha Samant. Our non-stop focus on the clashes at the LAC between India and China and how our forces forced the Chinese side to retreat. Several voices that we've been getting you as we continue to see this sort of escalation when it comes to China, and especially what happened in Tawang in the early hours of December 9th. Those are the satellite pictures on your screens of the reinforcement of how China took advantage of the weather conditions, of how they slowly moved towards the Indian side, but our forces that forced the Chinese to go back to their side. And no casualty has been reported. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh making it very clear not an inch of land has been taken by China. And joining us on the broadcast is Congress MLA Ninong Ering, who've been hearing from as we continue to get you the latest details on this. Thank you for speaking to Republic this evening. Ninong Ering, your take on this latest border face-off between India and China, of the kind of politics that is being played out. But first up, the government making it very clear not an inch of land is taken, and most importantly, of how our forces have fought them.
Good evening, and thanks for letting me into your channel, of course. I've just saw your presentation and how the army were, the reinforcements were there. And of course, let us not jump to conclusions. What I think is that Arunachal Pradesh has problems with China because they claim that Arunachal Pradesh is a part of South Tibet. But let us be very, with a very peaceful, with a peace of mind. We should speak that if you blame the Congress, the UPA government, or the NDA, that is wrong. What we feel, the people here living in Arunachal Pradesh, we also feel that discomfort when politics is involved into these kind of issues. Here, the army, our brave Jawans are there. They are fighting. They are fighting the war for us. They are strengthening our borders. So there is no doubt about it. Of course, I'm not a Congress spokesperson. My seniors are there in Parliament, and they will surely respond to all those allegations or counter allegations that go on. But I think that the main thing is that our mind should change, especially for China or even from the diplomatic terms. They should be more encouraged instead of just saying that okay, the BJP is not doing well or the Congress is not doing it. When I was a union minister also, and when I was a member of Parliament, so there also I had seen that Arunachal Pradesh is always at, suppose a VIP comes here, a president comes here, prime ministers come here, China always resorts to all these tactics. So here also I think there may be some problems in China. That is the reason they adhere to these kind of tactics where, let it be in Chaglahan, let it be in